Hello everyone, welcome to Mindovermania, where we keep your head above the chaos. My name is Christian, and today I'm recording another pick a card reading where you get to intuitively choose your own channeled message. Today's topic is going to be, who is being a trickster in your life and why? So for the context of why I'm doing this reading, I've often found in various videos I hear people talking about trickster energy being in their midst, and I wanted to take a deeper look into that and how it's playing out in the collective's energy. Now, trickster energy isn't necessarily good or bad. However, oftentimes our first thought is it's bad and with evil intentions, right? But the purpose of this reading is to help you guys get a little bit more clarity of what is this energy all about? Are you sensing something that is yours? Does it belong to somebody else? Is someone trying to maybe have ill intentions or maybe not? In any case, we're going to do a deeper dive into what's actually happening so that way you can have a little bit more peace of mind whenever you sense these types of energies. Remember, these readings are for entertainment purposes only. Please do not use these videos to diagnose anybody or to solve a critical life process. I don't want to be blamed for some of y'all's bad decisions out there, but just use your discretion with the messages and only take what resonates. At the end of the day, these pick-a-card readings are based off of our own human limitations when it comes to intuition. So if you're cloudy yourself, you may notice some mirroring energies back to you in these situations. In any case, I'm here to be your judge-free guide to get you through whatever your situation's going on so that way you can get some more clarity. We have 4 piles to choose from today. In order to select your pile, put both feet firmly on the ground, take a couple of deep breaths, close your eyes, and then focus on the trickster energy that you've been feeling, or just that uncomfortable feeling you get whenever you sense someone might be lying to you. Then, once you have that in your body or in your mind, open your eyes, select whichever pile you feel drawn to the most, and those will be your messages. Or, if maybe a particular person comes into mind, you might want to check one of the piles out. However, only take what resonates, because for some of you guys, the person that you perceive as a trickster may not necessarily be ill-intended or not. So please use discernment when it comes to your reading itself. Another piece of advice I have for y'all, especially if you are having a hard time making a determination with your selection, I highly recommend putting a crystal underneath your chair or in between your feet whenever you're trying to select your pile. It helps you with grounding. I highly recommend a crystal such as black tourmaline, like this, or like what I'm currently using right now. I have a big old chunk of rainbow obsidian. I actually have 2 pieces of obsidian going on right now. But obsidian is a really great protective stone, and it helps you stay grounded whenever you're trying to channel and receive messages. Or even just a brick in your lap. Whatever you need to do to get grounded. All right, and if you enjoyed this message today, please like, subscribe, and comment down below if it resonates with you. Also, check out my website, my blog, if you're interested in booking a session with me. I'm currently open, as well as I have a blog where I talk about mental health topics and have different self-care guides, information about mental health, and other topics. Also, if you'd like to get in touch with me, information for social medias and contact information is down below. I will see you at your pile. Take care. Hello everyone, you have chosen pile number 1 with "This Jackassery Will Not Stand." Okay, and these are going to be your messages on who is trying to trick you and what is the trickster energy surrounding you. So I have 4 piles of cards today that we're going to discuss. First, we're going to start off with the situation itself. So basically your initial vibe check and to see what's going on between you and this other person, or the energy or vibe that's in the room. Then we're going to get into more specific of who this trickster person is and more description, a little bit more deeper into the situation between the 2 of you. Thirdly, we're going to be looking at what exactly are they lying about, or what are they trying to trick or deceive you with. And then finally, a message from your spirit guides, ancestors, and all the protective energy out there for you. So right off the bat, I already feel like there's a little bit of scattered energy. So either maybe you or this other person, you're kind of in chaos mode right now. Or maybe someone's got ADHD, but I just felt like there's a lot of all over the place, and like someone's being loud. So for example, I could see this person talks a lot, or I feel like maybe this person's extroverted, or maybe you feel like they are, you know, flapping their mouth or talking. Take what resonates, but I do feel like, you know, somebody in this connection feels like the other person's a chicken, right? And so you might be sitting there you might be thinking that this person's a jackass. That's kind of more the vibe I feel. But the feelings might be mutual, you know, because it looks like this person's about ready to fight, you know? But again, it's kind of like, I'm getting the phrase, just amongst us chickens, you know, it kind of feels like even though you want to try to dominate this person or try to prove that you're right in some way, or prove that this is the trickster, it kind of feels like you guys are both on the same playing field of not really knowing what's going on. It's kind of like seeing two different co-workers fighting over something when the reality is neither of them are the boss, so they don't have all the details, you know? So I feel like everyone's just kind of playing chicken and trying to call each other's bluff when really that's not the purpose. Another thing too is it was kind of like there was like maybe someone's lying about their feelings, maybe someone is, yeah, I don't know, like someone's got like a big secret, you know, maybe someone has issues going on with their sexuality, or maybe there's something going on with like, there's something going on behind closed doors, okay, that you're not supposed to know about. And so Spirit's going to try to filter down specifically what I said, because again, this reading's general, so it may not apply to everybody that's watching this pile, you know? It's like, I don't want to sit there and out someone who's queer that potentially isn't, or even is if it's dangerous for them, but it feels like something about, like, with the eyes, it's a very clear vibe of somebody in this connection is just looking at someone and passing a judgment instead of actually investigating, asking questions. And that's a really dangerous place to be in. Okay. We're gonna start with the situation. See what the cards have to say about like what's going on between you and this other person. Aw. Oh. It's an oracle card in reverse. Interesting. Oh no, 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 no. Okay. You guys are getting some oracle cards in reverse. So again, there's just something about like crazy chaos. Maybe you think this person's crazy or they think you're crazy a little bit. Dang. Okay. So the vibe I'm getting for this trickster energy, or what's kind of happening in this situation, someone's missing you or reminiscing about a version of you that no longer exists. Right. So maybe that's where that whole queerness thing came up, where it's kind of like, even if this is not a queer situation, even though it very well could be, it does really give the vibe of someone was playing pretend for a very long time, you know, especially if you were a queer person in a era that it wasn't safe, or maybe they're constantly around people that aren't safe. Naturally, they're just very good at lying because you have to survive, right? And if you're a straight person and you're not very aware of these dynamics, you might think this person's lying about infidelity or something else. And it's like, maybe, but it could also be they just have different feelings inside than you. And so there's really not that much there. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean this person's a villain. Yeah, because I feel like there's like a combative energy, or there's kind of like this whole like needing to prove something, that either you're trying to prove something or this other person is invading your space and trying to prove something about you, and you're going, whoa. With this peaceful energy, I feel like things look very calm on the surface, and it's kind of weird because like the sun is shining, this person's like reflecting, they see a boat on the water. It's almost like they're seeing this boat leave peacefully. Everything's calm, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this person's a jackass. You know what I mean? I really don't understand y'all's energy, pile number one, because I can't tell what's you and what's them. And that might actually be the trickery that's going on, or I'm hearing like sorcery. So again, maybe someone does tarot and spirituality and they're used to diving into this stuff, but they're not very clear, or someone's just very disoriented in this connection. So instead of like, they're trying to like look under the surface in this pond when they should just see, hey, the boat's leaving without you, whether you want to be with them or not. You know what I mean? Like, life continues to move on regardless of what conspiracy you think is happening behind your back. And with synchronicities, I feel like someone's a little confused whenever they're seeing signs, you know, because I feel like it's very popularized to say, hey, you know, watch for a sign from spirit. In this case, don't watch for a sign from spirit, because I feel like there's something going on here that's either you're confused by what you're seeing from spirit or this other person is, and there's just kind of a mismatch of energy that's really not clicking, and it's not very useful to you at this time. Now we're going to talk about this with this situation here, either between you and this person or what's the vibes. We've got recalling, reminiscing memories, returning, and envy, jealous of someone else's success. And these were both in the reverse. So this tells me somebody's either like hardcore fantasizing about you in a connection that never existed, which triggers somebody. Take what resonates, but I feel like this might be why things are so confusing, especially if you're a spiritual person, because it feels like there's different energies entangled and enmeshed here. So for example, if it was just a connection, like you're the one who's fantasizing about a romantic partnership with someone, and you're like, oh, my lover is on this boat, but when you look closely, like you can't even see who's on the boat. So there's definitely a lot of rumination that y'all will really want to make sure that you're careful about regulating, because if you project something onto somebody and it doesn't come to fruition, that's not spirit, right? Just manufacturing synchronicities or saying like, okay, if I see 222 every time I drive by his favorite place or whatever, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a sign from spirit. It could just mean that you picked up on a pattern. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's this jealousy of an invisible relationship, or jealousy of what this person has, or you're jealous of a relationship that isn't anything to do with this person, right? There's just this deep wounding and tying to this like remembering and whatever. And it's almost like I keep wanting to cover this woman up where it's like, it's just the guy, but you're not even looking at the connection itself. You know what I mean? Like you're just reminiscing about a person instead of the relationship. And so that's where I think that's sort of the distorted trickster energy, is it feels like it's subconscious. And again, with this jackassery, you know what I mean? It feels like if you don't get your way, we got to put a label on somebody. You know what I mean? Or it's like, oh, they ain't shit, or they're chicken shit. And it's just kind of like, well, you didn't really give this person a chance to show up for you either. And it's okay to own your mistakes, but with the infinity symbol, it kind of feels like you're giving yourself an infinite amount of chances, but then not applying that same logic to other people in your life. You know what I mean? And I'm also hearing like ass, so maybe like you're being very stubborn about somebody or something. We've got entitled, lives a privileged life that treats everyone like shit. Thief, so more of that Bonnie and Clyde energy. And then horned cactus, resourcefulness. Okay, so this horned cactus card talks all about being resourceful in a desert, right? So basically, even though things on the surface may seem like they're really bleak, it seems like under the surface, though, there's a lot more going on. Like you're capable of sustaining yourself even during dark times, you know? And I feel like the trickster right here is pretending that this person's spikes makes them a bad person when really they're a cactus, right? So it's kind of like, all right, yeah, if you come rolling in and act entitled to a relationship, yeah, they're gonna throw you out of the club. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I get the vibe or energy of like, yeah, okay, we're gonna use a club example, right? So you go out clubbing with your friends, and then you see somebody over in the VIP section that you want to talk to. Well, it's like you're walking up to the bouncer that's protecting VIP, and you try to tell the bouncer that like, well, my dad works at blah, 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 so that means I deserve to get into VIP to go talk to that person. Meanwhile, you're sitting there like trying to get to know somebody but you're not actually there with the program. Yeah, okay, so that's where it was a weird distortion, because I was like, wait, am I talking about you or this other person? And that's where the enmeshment's happening, is like maybe sometimes you are entitled in certain ways, but not in other ways. And so you haven't been able to separate yourself from this other person, or this identity or idea. It feels more of like an idea of who you're supposed to be, where you're like, oh, well, I'm important, so I'm the big cheese and I want good things, so I want to go back to VIP. Meanwhile, your person's over sitting there working as a bartender. You know what I mean? This kind of gives me like this jealousy or envy of social status and superficial things, rather than looking at, oh, does this person actually match my energy or not? Maybe that person at VIP doesn't date blondes, you know what I mean? Or doesn't even consider you an option. You know what I mean? But again, with this entitled energy, it feels really like there's a victimhood going on. And with Thief too, yeah, I'm seeing like the Bonnie and Clyde, but again, it feels like somebody was iced out in a connection, right? So it's like you had a person, but this person wasn't good enough for you, or this person didn't spend enough time or money or energy on you, and so you were just like, so you ran away. You know what I mean? You thought someone was a better match for you. Meanwhile, this person was a perfect match for you. Or I wouldn't say perfect match, but like they definitely weren't the worst person in the world, and you kind of just, you were a little bit in this entitled energy. Again, if you are not this person, then somebody in this connection is. Again, I'm just speaking to you guys as the audience, because I'm just like, whoa, like every time I sit in this field, it's like it shifts and there's like mocking and then there's swirling. Okay. Anyways, if that didn't resonate with you, then this is probably not your pile, so you can go ahead and try another pile, or this may not be the video for you, okay? Don't force a message out of something that doesn't need to be there, okay? All right, so we're gonna get into who is the trickster in this scenario. I feel like it's you guys, okay? And not necessarily that you're intending to be a trickster, but it's a version of yourself that will not stand for things, right? So this is a part or version of yourself that doesn't want to put up with bullshit anymore, okay? And the reason why it's a trickster is because it's trying to protect you from some sort of information that you lost a long time ago. You know what I mean? And for me, it kind of feels like context. So for example, if you have always behaved a certain way around a certain kind of person, right? We'll use the stereotype of the VIP versus the bartender. Maybe because your family members have an alcohol problem, right? You assume if they're a bartender, that means they're probably poor, it means they're probably lonely, maybe they're not a good person, maybe they're like lying or whatever. So you say, all right, I'm never going to consider engaging with a bartender and try to date them. I want the VIP because I want the person that I know the money's never going to bounce in my account, and I'm always going to have nice clothes, and my children are going to go to nice schools, and blah, 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 right? Meanwhile, if you actually dated that person in VIP, first you have to land them, and that person knows, just by looking at you, looking at your attitude, and blah, 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 they have a very different set of criteria that if you didn't grow up in their wealthy culture, they're going to weed you out right away. Okay, so this is kind of like, it gives me a little bit of like the dreaming of wealth or the accumulation of wealth, but you still don't fit in socially somewhere. Or like, again, maybe you got promoted and now you're hanging out with a different crowd that you don't belong in. Or these people make you feel that way, right? Maybe that could also actually be the trickster itself. Or maybe you should be going to VIP, but something about this dynamic is keeping you caught, right? There's actually a psychologist that talks about studying the social transition between blue collar and white collar and the culture shock that happens. And so to me, it kind of feels like you want to be with the bartender, but the trickster's telling you you need to go over to VIP for some reason. And so that distortion is inhibiting you because you're not showing up. If you want to date the VIP person, you're not showing up at your best because you're eyeing the bartender. But then you go over to the bartender and you're like, what the fuck is this? This doesn't meet my expectations. I'm not dealing with the same BS. And you've already made that judgment before you projected it onto this person when you don't even know that, yeah, a bartender that's working at a VIP club A VIP club/lounge is going to be in a different bracket than another bartender. And also, people are different. You never know. You don't want to judge based off of a job, who a person is. But something about, like, this energy is causing that. In this case, you. And it could be also the other person, too. So part of this trickster energy isn't just a piece of yourself. This piece of yourself also learned this behavior either from a parent or your peers. Social media, all that stuff, because society loves to create hierarchies when there doesn't need to be and create subconscious rules. So this distortion really feels like it's a combination of your own experiences of maybe getting judged or made fun of for your clothes, for not knowing how to speak properly, for things that you might not even remember happening to you growing up. And you're like, I didn't know this made me come across as poor. You know what I mean? Or came across as wealthy. It doesn't really matter what the context is. The point is, though, is it's trying to fool you to stay in an old pattern, because an old pattern feels safer. So we've got the Nine of Swords in reverse, which this is all about, like, nightmares and terrors and whatnot. It feels like who this trickster person is it's a version of you that doesn't want to go through that again. It doesn't want to go through getting rejected. It doesn't want to go through getting made fun of. It doesn't want to go through the reality that maybe something about you is different, right? It's a lot easier to call someone else a chicken and try to call their bluff when you're the one that's actually chicken, right? And again, these are very real scenarios, guys. Like, it's not something to be ashamed of, but it is important that you're responsible in your interactions with this version of you. With fruit, this represents the lovers, right? So to me, this could have to do with a relationship, you know? So maybe the trickster in this scenario is a partner, right? The jackass, you know? And this person maybe has jackass tendencies. However, you're attracted to that for some reason. Why? Because something about a jackass has something you don't. And you know what that is? Courage, drive, the ability to go out there and say, I'm going to be a jerk and not care about what anybody else thinks. You don't want to be a jerk. Maybe sometimes you do, but you want to have that confidence so that way you never have to experience this again. That's what you're jealous of. You don't want all the other stuff. You don't want the traumas and the bad juju and all that stuff. No. You want just the confidence. That way you could say, hey, actually, I do belong in VIP. Please seat me right there. And then you're not even going to notice the dude sitting in VIP because you're at VIP and you go there all the time. That's where that luxury mindset kind of comes in, where you're understanding you belong wherever it is that you belong, right? And you should not be allowing other people's judgments of you, them being territorial over spaces, knock you off your pedestal. Now, obviously, it's a lot easier said than done, but that's what the reality is if you're being caught between two different energies, a past, a person, look at what it's holding back to you. What is it trying to shine its light on to you? And the lovers, that's all about two opposite energies coming together and forming great union, right? So it's literally about finding balance between, I'm not going to put up with BS, but also at the same time, I don't have to go be a jackass about it. I don't have to go stomping up to the bouncer and get all snippy and be a Karen about it. I can just say, hey, that's fine. You don't need my business. You know? It's just about finding balance and then using your voice. You know, learning how to use your voice in a way so that way, like, maybe you feel like whenever you talk, it feels like you sound like a chicken. You feel like, my voice is all scratchy, or you're just not used to using your voice as a tool to help you through situations. And again, giving voice to this trickster, your trickster's been talking all the time, but other people can see through it and they can see your fear without you knowing it. And that's why some people will reject you off the bat, because they know you're not confident enough or ready. Hate to say it, but it's true. You know, I find myself in those situations sometimes where I'm like, that person's not confident and this is why. And it's okay, but it will stop you from opportunities of leveling up. And especially with relationships, if you don't see it, A more perpetratory person, like for example, if that bartender wasn't a good person and he was a jackass, he knows because you don't release your inner jackass, you're always going to put up with his, right? You're going to sit there and go like, you're bad, blah, 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 blah. All he knows is you're going to do this, you're going to talk about it, but you're not going to embody it. That's what he's afraid of. He's afraid of you actually going for things, achieving things, being who you say you are, walking the walk instead of talking. If you're not walking, then you better not be talking. That's how this person's energy is. And that's what you are trying to reflect back to yourself through this trickster part. We've got the Queen of Fire, so the Queen of Wands. Okay, so that's telling me there's some creative energy. So whoever this trickster person is, be it yourself or maybe an external person, they've got a lot of fire. They've got a lot of passion, but it doesn't seem like they know how to handle it yet. The Queen of Wands usually is the mature version, but something about this connection or this trickery tells me that things are just heating up. They're lighting up, but they're not sustaining yet. So to me, whoever this person is, they know how to manage fire, but use it as a shield, right? That shield is what protects them from other people, right? Because they're bright. They know exactly who they are, but you don't see their features, just like in this card. That's exactly how you should emulate if you want to start identifying other tricksters. Is some people, they don't have to say anything. They're already subconsciously shielded by their own energy. They know how to protect themselves. And so for you guys, that would be a really great visualization where if you're in a situation where you can't tell who's the trickster, if it's yourself or someone else, imagine a wall of healing fire around you or protective fire that illuminates truth. Imagine it around you. You don't have to say anything, but once that protective barrier, that truth revealing light comes through, that's when people are going to start turning away from you. It's going to feel a little weird, right? But using that truth as a barrier will protect you, because people who are trickster and can't manage that ebb and flow, they're always going to stand out against the truth, right? And especially if you're coming from divine light, right? Divine truth. Divine truth is subjective. However, in this case, if we're trying to weed out entitled people, people that are trying to harm us, you're going to want to have a pretty good shield, because they're just going to bounce right off. Or they're going to illuminate and cast shadows compared to other people. Okay, so the other cards you have is Perfect Storm, the courage to step into life, and the Crossing, initiation. So another sign of who this trickster person is they're either going through something or something is transforming, because I'm seeing like these portals here. So it's almost like someone's going in a portal and coming out another, but they're kind of used to it. Like I see in this scenario, this is like a barren wasteland. They go through the portal and then they come out into a storm, you know? So I kind of feel like this trickster person is used to maybe transitions in life, where again, as I said before, talking about like two different versions of themselves. It's like, hey, I show up to work. I'm this person at work. Once I leave work, all the glitter and the shiny goes away, and then I'm coming back into my crazy ass life, right? So that's another sign of this trickster person, is they're gonna have two different personalities, one from work, one from home, right? Or a version of themselves in front of good people, and a different version of themselves when they're around bad people. Or again, I feel like there's like a lot of eyes in this perfect storm. So to me, this person, there's a person in this connection. Again, I can't tell what's you and what's this other person, but there's a person in this connection that's very good at shielding their light and who they actually are, because they are so used to having thousands of eyes watching them. So again, it could be maybe they're attractive, or they've been under scrutiny in their family. Maybe they're very visible, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad or ill-intended, even if they lie, because there is a vibe of, hey, I've got something really good going for me. I'm going to protect it the way I know how. And if I'm in a safe environment, yeah, I'm fine. The moment I close that door, I'm a different person. totally different animal, right? Because you never know what it took to protect themselves, right? So this could be someone maybe even protecting their energy from you while they're trying to figure out who you are. That very well could be the case as well. Because that's where that jackassery, it's that same energy of like, well, I don't want to deal with jackasses either, but there's like plenty of different kinds of jackasses. And I have a specific jackassery, but does it match yours? Because again, when we play with fire, we're going to get burned, right? Because like, in order to level up, you had to have made mistakes and overcome them. The difference is, have you overcome them? And do we have a compatible version of shadows, right? Especially with this lovers, especially if you're looking for dating, you know, you want to make sure that if your shadows don't match each other, it's going to go bad, you know? And if you can't admit that you have shadows and that you can't make them match, then you're probably not mature enough and ready for a relationship yet. Just saying. Yeah, and then you're going to go back into these spirals of, oh my gosh, my demons are ruling my life, blah, blah, blah. This person already had that experience. That's why they were able to create this portal. They need an entryway to get from one version of themselves to the other, so that way they know, this is my safe place, this is outside. So I don't have to wear a mask here, but I got to make sure that this is safe. Right? And so right now, if you don't have a safe place inside of yourself, create one. And you're like, how do I make a safe space inside of myself? Well, there's visualization techniques. I'm not going to get into that with the rest of the reading, but just know that once you create a mental mind palace, I guess, to quote Sherlock Holmes, it'll get a lot easier for addressing this version of you that's trying to keep you safe, but is actually tricking you into making mistakes so you can survive. Okay. Next, we're going to get into what exactly is this person lying about. So this could be wealth and financial status. So maybe this person has way more money than they're allowed to spend. So that was specific. So I could very much see this person being like, they're going to inherit a lot of money someday. So even though they can't spend it right now and be a big spender, they're going to get a lot when their parents pass away. So they're trying to really sort through who is a financially viable partner or parent, or co-parent. With jackassery, they are... I feel like this person is kind of a jackass, though. And what they're lying about is... I think they're lying about not being a jackass, kind of. I feel like it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Or maybe you think this person is sarcastic at first, but I don't think you actually realize how little they care of their effect on others. And that might be a red flag for you, okay? Because there's definitely an energy of like, yeah, this person's gonna split if you say one thing that they don't like, but they're gonna say all kinds of mean things about people. So it really kind of feels double-handed. Let's flip over the cards and see. Oh, commitment. Yeah, I just feel like something's not adding up. Divine masculine, victim, and lockdown, mental prison, confined. Okay, so whoever is the trickster, and it could be both of you, and that might be the trick that you're playing on each other, but there is definitely like a long-term relationship that is affecting the situation. So maybe this person lied about how much money they actually had. Maybe they lost a bunch of money in a divorce or a settlement. Maybe there was a public battle or dispute. And so commitment to them, maybe they lied about wanting to commit to you just to see if you were interested, just to see if there was financial gain. With divine masculine, there's something about maybe this person has internalized misogyny, or I'm feeling they have a power complex. So again, for commitment, they think they're the prize, right? Because they're like, okay, I know I have all this money sitting around back somewhere, but I don't have access to it yet. And I especially won't have access until I'm married or I get with a partner, because I know that I'm hearing dad, whoever the financial, it feels like a paternal figure though, until he can either prove that he's worthy Gives me a little Thor vibes, but not quite. I think don't focus on the story, just understand that there's something that needs proven that they can commit, and they need a person that they kind of want to just be there when it hits. You know what I mean? This really doesn't feel like this person wants to marry somebody that they're in love with. They kind of just want to be like, okay, when I'm ready to get married and settle down, I want this person. I'm hearing the taxi cab theory, so it's basically, there's a theory on the internet and TikTok where men in general are like, they don't marry the person that they're in love with necessarily. They marry whenever they're ready to. So it's literally just like the moment you hail for a taxi, whatever taxi shows up first, that's the one they get into. This is the kind of trickster that you're dealing with, where this person's like, yeah, I want to get married or have a long-term relationship, when really they're kind of just like, it ebbs and flows. It's okay. It's whatever, you know, I can always find another one. You know what I mean? I feel like there's this ego that, there's an ego that's trapped in this wound, right? That there's always going to be somebody that's going to be special or worthy enough. You know what I mean? And that could be your distortion as well, as thinking that like, okay, well, I gotta find the perfect dude who's maybe has that money, or you think is every man you meet, if they don't meet a certain amount of standards, you're just gonna completely dismiss them. And that's kind of a lie to yourself, because you want a commitment, right? But if you're only basing your judgments off of money and financial viability, that doesn't say anything about how they take care of you. Because I know a lot of dudes that have a lot of money that don't give a shit about their partner at all. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Now there are men out there that do want to have a great partner. They want to have a great life with somebody. But the reality is the more money they have, they're a lot less likely to give a shit. Because they've seen and heard everything, they've done everything, depending on how old they are. They have access to the whole world. Why would they care about one person in particular? And that's a very cold line of thinking, but that's what the trickster is lying to you about. We've got lockdown, mental prison, confined, victim. Yeah, so maybe someone is leading you on, doesn't want to commit. They're always blaming, oh, this bad thing happened to me in childhood, and meanwhile he's balding. Oh. Maybe he's lying about it, he's balding. Someone's got a secret to pay, I don't know, maybe not. But like, with the lockdown, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of like trauma that this person's lying about. Because at first I was like, oh, they're being a drama queen or a drama king. And they're like, no, actually, that's what I was lying about. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, you know, when I'm thinking of like the emo stoner boy aesthetic, the edginess, where they're like, yeah, I'm gonna have this really artsy photo shoot of myself crying in the rain or smoking or just looking ominous. Or like, I could see another version of this being like the dude that's posting sappy photos or gym videos, or they have like those comments like, well, I let a good woman go once and I'll never do it again, or men like me, like, we're like lions and you don't do this with a lion. You know what I mean? I think you guys get the point. But like, that's kind of the lie, because actually they are secretly really feel like they're worthless. And they feel like their value only comes from their birthright. Maybe they weren't given many opportunities growing up. They were kind of just told to say, shut up, do this, this, and this, go have fun. It feels very like a avoidant attachment style. So to them, like, they don't really have a connection to intimacy. So they're literally spiraling out by themselves instead of maybe asking you questions, because they're like, well, I'm a jackass. They think that you feel that they are a jackass. So why would they bother? They think, oh, it's interesting because like this chicken seemed really mean up until this point, but now it's suddenly just kind of like mouth is open and kind of going like, gasp, I didn't know anyone could figure me out. you know? And same with victim, I think, yeah, maybe that was the distortion, is you thought this person was putting on a show and being a victim, when it's like, yes, there is like whiny drama boy energy, but there is a real truth behind that. You know what I mean? Maybe this person didn't have a dad. Just because you see people in people's photos or they talk about people, that doesn't mean shit, right? And I feel like this person's trapped in their own victimhood, where it's weird. It was almost like I was seeing with the hands, it's like two different colors. Like, they genuinely, I was like, someone hasn't had a bath in a while. Someone's not taking care of themselves. Yeah, just long term, I feel like, yeah, I think they've just been messed up for a long time. That's kind of what they're lying about. Is like, maybe they're going through a spiritual awakening right now, but like the lies going on between the two of you really have to do with this commitment to each other, because you're not ready for commitment and he definitely wants, but he has commitment issues. You know what I mean? And that's where the lockdown kind of spirals. Is it's kind of like, well, why would I bother when she's so gorgeous, or she has blah blah blah, all of it together. Again, think of that bartender who maybe he got that job as a bartender because he was crashing out when he was younger. So then his dad kicked him out. And he knows that his dad's not going to cut him out of the will, but he also might. He doesn't know. Yeah, someone was just, they had like a really unstable upbringing. And so because of that, they hide their truth. Maybe they hide behind masculinity, or maybe they hide that they're actually not as masculine as you'd think. That's why I was like, oh, maybe it's a queer thing, because very easily sometimes people assume that if a man's not acting in this box, that he's gay. When it could be he's literally trying to not cry and shut down all the time, and then someone's like, oh my gosh, he's gay, or oh my gosh, he's whatever, blah, 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 and then it brings this cycle. Yeah, so just be very, very careful, about your own distortions with people, because you never know. It's like, it doesn't matter if this trickster is a man or a woman, that wound is still there. And so they're using divine masculine energy to protect themselves. And through the power of thought, because this person is very bright. And maybe they are very intuitive. Maybe they saw through some of your bullshit, But it's their version of what they can see, which is only limited. Which is why the jackassery comes in, because they're like, oh, you're just like this, this, and this. When it's like, well, that's not necessarily true. Maybe you were a little entitled. But that also isn't necessarily entirely true either, is it? I don't know, you guys. Okay. So we did situation, who this person is, oh wow. Yeah, who this person is, what they're lying to you about. So, oh, I didn't realize there were other cards. Okay, cool. Well, we've got Verge, about to reveal, confess, cleansing, meditation, clearing space, wish, hope, praying, yearning, and the King of Fire in reverse. Okay, so that also paints a very different picture about what's being lied about. So, about to reveal, confess, there's some kind of a distortion. Maybe you think someone's coming towards you when they're not. But yes, they are. So something's about to get revealed to both of you. And I think it's about both of your own bullheadedness. Right? Maybe you and this other person, or this trickster person, have like a stubborn energy. So like, again, the bartender scenario, where they don't want to grow up or change or face their issues, or they're just stuck. And then you're over here trying to make it into a bracket that you fought very hard for, but you become hardened and entitled. Or maybe you're privileged in certain ways and this person's not, right? Even if they have access to things, even if they have access to money. Because you're looking for the wrong things in each other, right? You've already dismissed each other. So then with this King of Wands in reverse, though, notice how... Which was that? Was that in the situation or was that in the trickster? Yeah, it's who the trickster was, right? Who the trickster was the Queen of Fire. So maybe they look feminine, but they're actually quite masculine. Or vice versa. Take what resonates. But this tells me that what they're lying about, it feels like they're holding back. Again, lack of stability, but also creativity. So it almost feels like this person feels really emotionally stunted. So they haven't been able to access their creativity, maybe their own sexuality. Because again, talking about sexuality doesn't necessarily mean like gay versus straight. This could literally be, maybe they're interested in a certain type of sex position. Maybe this person wants to be more intimate. Maybe they prefer flirting. Maybe they got a foot fetish. Who knows, right? But sexuality is a huge part of human expression. And what's being lied about, either between the two of you, yourself, or this other person, is you're lying about who you have a crush on, and you're lying to yourself or to this other person about what you want with them. And that's what's about to get revealed, is why you're interested in someone, why you keep going back to a situation. Because again, between the VIP and the bartender, maybe you and that bartender got more in common than you thought. Because just because that bartender, he's a bartender, doesn't necessarily mean he's an alcoholic. Maybe he has rage issues. Maybe he is an alcoholic. That doesn't mean that's who he's always going to be. It doesn't mean he's not already in your circle. Right? Yeah, and something with tea here. Maybe someone drinks tea. Someone's lying about maybe gossip or a certain truth. Because I could see this person, this trickster person, literally being like, I'm going to keep my information to myself. Meanwhile, you're like, blah, 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 blah. Right? But I feel like they're going to just like, okay, gently reveal information to you. Not like, they're not going to like come out here and be like, by the way, my dad is so-and-so. You know what I mean? I'm inheriting blah, blah, blah. You know, or I happen to be married to somebody, but it was like an illegally forged marriage, or I'm married in another country, you know, arranged marriage, and I'm not really interested in that, and so I left. You know what I mean? Yeah, we've got cleansing and wish, hope, praying, yearning. Yeah, I think there's like this lie that like you guys are like praying for certain people when you're really praying for yourself and each other. Yeah, I don't know. I think like it's that entitled energy, is I feel like both of you guys have an entitlement problem, but you're looking in the wrong direction instead of at each other. And again, this could also be a symbolism for energy within yourself, right? Where maybe you've got a version of you that really wants the sparkly lifestyle, but the reality is you're stuck down in the dumps. And the lie is that it can't be cleared, that no matter how hard you work, it's never going to go away. Maybe you feel like smoking is the only thing that helps you when it isn't. Or maybe you're trying to burn everything down to try to get clarity and it's not working. Meditation isn't always the answer to everything, guys. Especially for if you're really in your head, you're very smart. Meditation isn't going to do it. I mean, meditation will help, but clearing your space and tapping into your body is what's going to do it. Because meditation really focuses on, yes, it should be a full body experience, but you're going to get laid. You were this other person. Like, that's what the lie is here, is there's a lack of just enjoying other people's company, companionship. I'm feeling like dancing. You know what I mean? Really primal stuff that really has intimately hurt both of you. Yeah, and like Verge, I was almost hearing like edging and stuff, and I was just like, okay, we're about to get there. You know what I mean? Just build it up. And like with prison, yeah, it's kind of like the lie is that you guys are locked down, maybe in a relationship, in a situationship, financially, whatever the issue is, you guys are in a mental prison about it when you don't need to be. So go over and talk to the bartender. And if it's not the bartender, it could be the guy in the VIP lounge. But if you're not talking, how do you know? How do you know who's right for each other? Yeah, someone's just holding their head and they're like, I'm not good enough, versus the other person's like entitled, being like, I deserve blank or nothing else. And it's like, both of y'all, stop. That's what Spirit's saying. Okay, all right, so we're gonna get a message from your spirit guides, angels, and ancestors on this trickster energy and what you guys kind of need to know, okay? We've got Mother Earth, feel loved and comforted. Aww. So maybe a maternal figure is sending you love right now, maybe an ancestor. I'm also hearing even a father. But this really feels like this is reassurance to you guys that this situation is going to get resolved. If you decide to chase after a person, just let it go. Leave it up to the universe. Stay grounded and understand that you're going to be loved and find love either way. You're going to still be okay. You know what I mean? Just because you can't get in the VIP lounge doesn't mean you're not going into an extra special super VIP lounge with this guy. You know what I mean? Like, don't judge a book by its cover. And even if it's not about financial, look at all the colorful butterflies. You know what I mean? You get to live your truth. Yeah, I'm seeing like the rainbow. So I was like, yeah, maybe if you guys do come out together, it's going to be okay. You know, you guys are going to be loved exactly as who you are. You know, you're going to be more comfortable with your bodies. You're going to be more comfortable with the human experience because you're going to get to live and breathe and not worry about all this dumb shit. All the hierarchies and the games you got to play and blah, blah, blah. You can just sit and exist and enjoy each other. All right? And it's a relationship. It doesn't need to last forever. But what it does need to do is it needs to nourish your spirit, okay? And for right now, again, you don't have to ask for a husband to feel loved by the universe. Spend time with the people around you. Spend time exploring your sexuality. Find out what you need, either in the bedroom, in how you express yourself, your identity. Like, have some fun with it. Don't just like shut down and be like, okay, well, I like chic things. I'm like, okay, yeah, but like really get into like, if I gave you a canvas, what would you paint to represent you right now? Or like, how would it feel if you tried something different for once? Instead of trying to perform who you are, who would you be? Right now, I'm wearing clothes that are mixed matched and I'm comfy. This is who I am right now. That's going to change if I'm on camera, but it's still me. I'm authentically just existing. I don't have a silent audience in my head telling me, well, this has to match this and this and that. You know what I mean? Really just kind of be like, if there were no rules, what would you do? And if you're with your best friend, the person you love more than anything, maybe a parent, an ancestor, a sibling, what would you be like then? Would you have even more courage? I don't know. But yeah, don't let this kind of trickster energy get you down, because like, seriously, this love story or whatever the heck is going on, it's still unfolding. And again, it doesn't have to be like an end all be all, like, oh my gosh, this is the one. It's like, no, it's just about these games that you're playing. You're never going to work through the distortion until you recognize you're playing a game with yourself and between other people that are also playing with themselves. I just caught what I said there. All right, y'all, I'm wrapping the reading up, but thank you guys so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below. If you enjoyed this, please let me know your thoughts on the message today. I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, everyone. You have chosen pile number 2, and these are going to be your messages on who is trying to trick you and what are they tricking you about, or what's this trickster energy? I don't remember the prompt already. But anyways, yeah, today I have 4 different groups. This is how the message is going to work. First, we're going to start off with talking about the situation to make sure that this is your pile. What is kind of this trickster energy going on? What may be happening with you, this other person, or other people? I do feel like this pile, it involves other people, and this might tie into some greater themes. Only take what resonates. And then once you're able to identify that this is in fact your pile or something related to you, this pile is all about who is this trickster. So this is going to help you identify the liar in the room, the person, or mentality that may be causing lies. You know what I mean? Because this could also be an ideology, a theme. Last pile, there kind of was a person, but it kind of wasn't. So take what resonates. We're going to see everybody seems to be a little different tonight. And then the third pile is going to be what is being lied about specifically. So maybe I'm hearing like TV show, maybe there's some kind of like source of information, news or whatever is happening. And then finally we have a message from your spirit guide team and angels, ancestors, just some general advice for you guys. Whew. Wow, y'all, yeah, I'm getting overwhelmed by this energy already, because, like, I was hearing, like, Trump, I was hearing, yeah, I don't know, it was very strange, and what was wild was, while I was pulling your cards, I've never had this happen before, I kept trying to put cards over the message here, so almost like something about whoever this trickster person is. Maybe they're tied to an ancestor. Maybe they're tied to a religion, an authority. There's something about whoever this trickster person is covering up a divine message for you guys. Okay, so it's almost like maybe you guys sometimes get distortions or distorted readings from people. And yeah, and it seems like there's a lot of very like black and white thinking within this pile. So again, I don't know if this is you guys or the trickster energy in general, but like with I'm literally seeing like everything has to be correct. I'm literally seeing, oh my gosh, I'm thinking of my grandfather where it's like he would do like this finger knocking thing, you know, and so it feels very traditional, very strict in a way that's almost not logical. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the expectation of perfection in every shape or form, but then if that person who's enforcing the rule makes a mistake, it doesn't count. But with you, you better be doing it right or else I'm gonna get you. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's why I'm like, this could be ancestry. All right, anyways, let's get into the situation of what's going on. Whew, something to do with money. Money, 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 money. Money. Yeah, either like, I feel like you guys had to cut somebody off or out. This is like, yeah, you guys could be cutting out like MAGA family members, or even, it seems like it's more, okay, because I can't, like, I don't want to assume that you guys are cutting off conservative family members. That may resonate with you guys, but I don't necessarily think that's the only story or the only side. I feel like there's just the energy of, okay, we are all getting away from conservatism, Republicans or whatever, and that situation or that reality is causing this trickster distorted energy, right? So we've got First Breath, Beginner's Mind, we have the Seven of Wands, the Five of Cups, and Fulfilled, Satisfied, Self-Actualized, Realize, oh my gosh, you guys are going to be making a lot of money. It's going to piss some people off so bad, especially people in your family. Oh my God. Okay, so this seems to be the situation. Somebody, cough, 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 could be you, could be someone else. Somebody is transforming, right? So if you don't know anything about Sonic the Hedgehog, okay, what happens is when this little creature called a Chow gets into this shape, it transforms, okay? And so we've got all these other Chows crying over it, which in this case, you know, it could also mean death, but really it feels like it kind of was a death for you guys. And all these other people around you are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person's a criminal, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, you're entering one of the best stages of your life. Like, you're sitting there being so fulfilled and happy. Like, you're reaching for the stars. Again, maybe you have changed as a person, right? Maybe you are literally going through that transformation of like, hey, I was just a small town girl living in a lonely world, and now boom, I blew up fast and quickly. And with like the Seven of Wands, it kind of feels like you've got haters sitting all trapped and confined. You know what I mean? I almost see like it's kind of like at the end of a movie when all the bad guys are put in jail, and so they're all angrily sitting there watching you, but they can't do anything because they're all in jail. Yeah, so like for you guys, it's almost like this trickster energy isn't necessarily a person. It could be this grief that other people have, but I see like the dead eyes. It's almost like it's like a fake grief. You know what I mean? Where they're sitting there going like, oh my gosh, I can't believe pile number 2 left me behind and blah, blah, blah. But when really they didn't care. If they cared, they would have showed up to your birthday. They would have done things for you. They would have like, you know what I mean? But they're like, oh, like, I really get this backhanded, like, these people are actually committing crimes behind your back, and then they got the balls to be mad at you when they get thrown in jail, when the truth's revealed, right? And with First Breath, I wanna read the message from this deck, okay? Because we got 21, in case that's significant. Maybe you guys are 21, maybe 21 years old is significant, maybe with alcohol. First Breath, a fresh start and renewed curiosity, natural trust, beginner's mind. When the First Breath card shows up for you, it is time to leave the old stories behind. You have arrived. Take a deep breath and another. There is nothing else you need to do but take in the new world that is revealing itself around you. Trust your natural curiosity. There is no need to dwell on how difficult the journey has been or how tight the passage to get where you are now. Just take it all in and experience the awe and wonder of your arrival at this destination. Even if it is a familiar place you have come to many times before, try to experience it as if for the first time, for you are renewed and the old you is no longer your concern. Practice the beginner's mind, not labeling or naming what you see and experience. That situation that was so difficult only a few days ago, just be with it and breathe. You have already gone beyond it, have overcome and resolved it, even if no one else realizes this yet. Soon enough they will, as you move on. Do not squander the power of First Breath, giving the old narrative mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Use it for new beginnings to animate a world you can play and create in. Do not underestimate the power of your breath and the magic of your words. Okay. So this situation, or the trickster energy that's happening here is like, these people want you to fail so badly. Like, I could see people investing money in your failure. And like, but it's impossible for you to fail because you're following divine guidance. And you trust, right? Like, you sat there and said like, okay, Spirit, I'm going to do this, this, and this, just like you told me. And then boom, all of a sudden your business is growing. People are getting healthier again. You got your voice back, and now all of a sudden you're great. You're a rising, shining star in your community, and all of these jealous ass people, because they wanted your fortune. They knew you were worth something, and they lied through their teeth. They thought you were going to stay down. They thought you were dead, and you came back even bigger than ever. Oh my God, and that's the trickster energy. Or this doesn't even feel like it's just one person. It's like a community of people that really shit on you. This could be family. This could be a social club, a fan base. Like, these hating ass people, they don't have anything going on with their lives. And here's the thing, they're just crying when they're not even sad. That's what's wild. Like, these people are literally only getting upset because they're seeing other versions of them cry. Because they're so distorted. When meanwhile inside they're like this. They're like, I'm so angry and blah, blah, blah. You put me behind a cage. But oh no, I'm so sad you died. The fuck? You are some weird ass people. Yeah, because like, I don't want to say this is related to politics, but I think it's more of a correlation of a type of personality of people who literally just follow the leader, follow along with what everyone else does because that feels safe for them, because they can't think on their own, and they can't be without someone by their side. Like, I literally see these are the kind of people that just get married willy-nilly and don't actually give a shit because they think everybody is the same like them. And that's where the distortion is. Oh my gosh. Yeah, meanwhile, you're fulfilled. You're going for the stars. You're like, oh my gosh. Like, some of you guys, I'm thinking of one of my viewers, actually, who's like an artist or whatever. And I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, you have such beautiful energy. And she was like struggling and thinking like, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to make rent and whatever. I'm sitting here just like, you are just a beautiful ass person. A snowflake filled with love and just, wow, you deserve infinite blessings, right? Just for existing. And I sit here and then like, I can only imagine what someone like this would think about this person. They'd say the most hateful shit behind this person's back because they're used to just regurgitating what everyone else around them does because they're distorted and checked out and need therapy. And anybody that's like not checked out like these people, they're like, why would you say that about that person? They're the nicest person. Oh my God. And then that snaps them back to reality. And they go, oh, but it's too late. The lie's already been exposed, right? Because now, all of a sudden, all the truth tellers were like, wait, you were talking shit about pile number 2? Huh? You're saying they did what? It was about money. It was all about the money. Yeah. Spreading false information to get money off your name. All right, now we're going to talk about who is behind these lies. About you, about a situation. Oh, it was a lover. A love interest who didn't get their way with you. I'm like pinching my lips. Someone's a horrible kisser and they didn't even know it. Interesting. We got, this isn't a tarot card, it's an oracle card, but you got the Wheel of Fortune, luck and right timing in reverse with 23, and then we've got benefactor, grace, and generosity 3. I think this is the Chariot. And then this is companions. I don't know what companions is. Sorry. I don't know how it translates back. Oh, okay. This is the Sun. Okay, interesting. So the person who's spreading these lies... Ooh, that feels like a really sneaky Sun card. Yeah, maybe this was someone that made you really happy in the past. They're working like behind the scenes against you. Or maybe they come across as very, very positive, but secretly they hate your guts. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is kind of wild because to me, I was like, you've got happy, blissful, joyful, content, the Sun, the Queen of Pentacles. This could also be maybe someone's jealous ex-girlfriend or boyfriend. Yeah, Chariot in reverse and luck and right timing. Yeah, it just sounds like, maybe you're in a happy relationship with somebody, a version of somebody that they couldn't experience, and so they hate you even more. There's something about crime. They're like, it's criminal. That person's a criminal. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like definitely this like standoff where you're trying to have a good time. Meanwhile, like maybe your partner or somebody else involved is like feuding with somebody and you're just like, let's try to get along. And everyone's like, no. Or it's like it's almost like people can't comprehend that you can have two opposing things going on at the same time. Yeah, and it's weird because this person that's lying is happy. Yeah, who is this trickster person, Spirit? Like, yeah, I'm seeing the sun, and like, they come across as very happy and bright and shiny. You know what I mean? And maybe that's a distortion, right? You know what I mean? It's like the kind of people that, like, you know, I'm hearing like fake celebrity, or like someone who does like the Instagrams. I'm seeing like people who do all of the influencer stuff and make sure that everything has to look perfect. They've got like the what is it? That like white girl aesthetic, or some kind of like, yeah, this person comes across as very, very happy. So you would have no idea how much they hate and resent you. And again, crime keeps showing up. So again, maybe they're a criminal. Maybe they're really good at hiding. And with companions, I feel like it's not alone, because I feel like this is also a group of people that also think and feel the same way. And they're kind of like, we are best friends. You're not included. So maybe you got excluded from a group and this person's a ringleader. Or it could just be in general, you know, there's a specific group of people that pretends like everything's happy, hunky-dory, and you didn't fit in with them, so what do they gotta do? They gotta project all their bad shit onto you and claim you're the problem. So when their group starts to fall apart from their own toxicity, I'm seeing like crime. You know what I mean? It's literally like these people, because they're so used to putting on this fake-ass happy face, they think everyone's secretly a criminal, or people are secretly out to get them, because that's how they operate, right? With whoever this trickster is, with the Queen of Rings, this Queen of Pentacle person, again, it kind of feels like the people that are like, oh yeah, just like mama's cooking, you know what I mean? Loves to spread joy into the community. And it's like, oh my gosh, love and light, everybody. Yeah, flowers. We're all friends here. And they also come across as a queen, or a queen bee. And could also be queen bitch, you know what I mean, behind closed doors. But like, to me, this person has influence. Okay, whoever this trickster is, this person definitely has some nasty ass energy behind those hazel eyes. Yeah, I was like, did this person have a crush on you? And when you didn't fall for their lovey-dovey whatever, I'm gonna fall in line with everybody, they're kind of like, it's like hearing like the bad chord that's off key. Another sign of who this trickster is with the Chariot in reverse. That's telling me they maybe went through some misfortune in their life. So I'm seeing like their chariot got, one of the wheels is missing. So they're really having a hard time kind of getting going in life. But they watch you a lot, right? Like they spend a lot of time memorizing things that you say to remind themselves that you're a piece of shit. Damn, what? Yeah, I'm literally seeing this person just kind of like actively reminding themselves why they hate you, so they can be happy about their own situation. Like, maybe you dissected one of their issues one time in a way that they didn't like, and so they're like, oh yeah, I'm so thankful, grateful. Meanwhile, you didn't pick up on the undertones because you're like, yeah, no problem. And this person, something about like this person loves money. So maybe they took your advice and it backfired really badly, because Spirit caused you to channel something that wasn't supposed to be said. And they thought you did it intentionally. Meanwhile, you were just like, nope, I'm just reading what the cards say. I don't know, somebody committed a crime. And I don't even know if that crime is actually like, you know, going behind bars worthy. It could just feel like, wow, this person could get away with anything. And with fortune, yeah, I feel like this person, they may be very money driven or money focused. You know what I mean? I could see them being penny pinching. Meanwhile, they've got 3 or 4 other bank accounts filled with money. You know, I could see this person, they're very specific about their requirements. They make demands a lot. But they trust you, right? And so because they trust you, you think, oh man, I'm overthinking this. But behind closed doors, everything's about money. You know what I mean? So it's like down to the clothes you wear, down to the shows you attend, or the books you buy. Everything is about keeping up a persona. Because to this person, everything that screams I'm happy is controlled by their purchases. It's controlled by their eyeliner brand. It's controlled by all these different things. So if you step out of that circle, it breaks the shit out of their fortune or and expose the crime. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, if you don't play the same game, they think everyone's a criminal and wants the same things as them. So when you're not swayed, all of the truth comes out. But that's why I just feel like they get away with a lot of shit because no one's paying attention to them. This is some quiet energy. Like, literally, I'm seeing this bunny rabbit here. It's someone who pretends that they're soft and they're cute. Meanwhile, they're like money laundering. I'm also hearing laundry. So maybe it's like, oh yeah, they go to the laundromat because they're secretly broke. But like, they turn it into a situation of like, oh, I'm helping out a neighbor. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm just using your laundry. Meanwhile, they've got full access to it at somebody else's place. But they want to use yours to see if you'll comply. Holy cow, this is manipulative as shit. Yeah, and I also feel like another sign of who this trickster person is, they always seem to be having a bad time. Right? There's always like an excuse of why they can't get something working. Now, this is very different than people that are struggling with like a physical ailment, a physical limitation, a disability. This isn't it. This is like with Fortune's Wheel. It's like God could literally hand them the whole plate of food. Hand them an apple. They'll choose the smallest amount of food possible and then bitch and complain that you didn't feed them enough. When they're like, well, you could have taken the whole meal or as much as you needed, but you didn't. You took only the small amount. And they're like, yeah, I know, because I'm poor. And God's like, if you don't take what you need, then, you know what I mean? Just take it. You know what I mean? They're like, no, I have to show that I'm happy with what I have. Oh my God. Oh my God. Sorry, y'all. I'm just something like, that explains someone in my family so much. Oh, that makes sense. Because I was sitting there being like, you literally have access to so much money and stuff. You have more than the lion's share. And you're trying to make everybody appear happy. And it's because of literally like they were forced to show happiness regardless of what they got. And they have to be loving and caring and blah, blah, blah. Wow. That's some evil shit. That's some generational trauma there. Yep, everything's about money in this family or in this dynamic. Finally, we got benefactor, grace and generosity. Yeah, that's your final warning sign. Is when this person, they're playing generous. There are always strings attached. There is strings attached to the word choices you use, the information that you share, how happy you are when you receive something from them. They want you to be overjoyed. They want you to be singing their praises and kumbaya to show that you're part of the family. The moment you don't really show any of that, discard. Right? They want to feel like they're a king in their own castle. And again, everyone else is cozying up to them because they're like, oh my gosh, well, you're a king and we're having a great old time and blah, blah, blah. Benefactor. So to me, it sounds like they like to extort things from people. This could even be subconsciously. They might not even know, because like maybe some days they are genuinely kind and sharing. What they haven't worked on though is behind the fortune is a crime. So it'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and buy this really cute mask for Halloween, and then you find out it was made from like extorted children in Kenya or something like that. And then they're just like, oh, well, it's cheap, so I'm gonna get it. You know what I mean? And they're like, don't be silly, don't think about that stuff. You know what I mean? It's just a mask, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? So it's like this person is very, very strategic about, again, selective outrage. But it's very interesting how they know what they can get away with and not. And it's kind of strange because they are drawn towards criminal activity because they want to get away with whatever, because they think they're sneaky and they think they're going to get away with it. And because, oh, well, we're all happy here. Why are you causing a disruption? I feel like this person also didn't tell you something intentional about who they are and about their business, because they figured out that you're behind some of their shadows getting revealed unintentionally. It's just by you are actually happy. You, when you show up, when you're happy, you're happy. When you're sad, you're sad. This person, there is no sad. So all of that distorted energy comes out in different ways. It comes out as a mask of maybe even overly joyful than normal. I'm hearing like, praise Jesus. You know? Meanwhile, they're like, their eyes are watching you like a hawk because they're trying to figure out if you know that you can bust them. Dang. Meanwhile, you're sitting here like, I'm just having a good old time. Meanwhile, this person's trying to cozy up to you, get you nice and warm, feel nice and comfy, because they want your money. Wow. Okay, y'all. That's who the trickster is. Shit, there's like a whole saga. I don't know if this has been a theme of you meeting these people, or has this been an ongoing drama with a family member or a specific relationship. Again, past ex-lover. I don't know, man. This, wow. Okay. Okay, we're now going to get into what is this trickster person lying about. So they're lying about getting away with something with you. We got compassionate, regretful, remorseful. Oh my gosh, you got played, sir. Some, I don't know. Maybe a guy was played. Maybe this person had a crush on your ex and you didn't know it. And they were so, oh my gosh. They played you so good. Played you like a fiddle. Oh my gosh, I feel, for some reason I don't feel bad. I don't think that's me though. I think that's this person. Drifter, experiencing life as it comes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I keep hearing everything is about money. And that's what the lie is. Because to this person, they're like, oh, it's not all about money. Yes, it is. Maybe this person was a fake friend. They were lying about not knowing about your relationship with somebody. Regretful, remorseful, sorry, repentant. Yeah, oh my gosh. Like, this person had you fooled. They saw you crying. They saw you hurt. They were lying about feeling compassion. They didn't feel a damn thing. Damn. I feel like, I don't know if you got stood up by somebody and you didn't care. And so like, oh, okay, they didn't notice. So they went back to you anyway for the money. They're like, yeah, no, it is so sad. Yeah, I'm literally seeing someone I know in this photo where it's like, I feel like they're pretending that they also dislike this person to try to use you and expose something about you. And it's really gonna backfire bad on this person. And you're gonna make a fortune. Oh my God, I could see this as like, maybe you're gonna make money off of someone else's crime. Because you're gonna expose how low this person went and they're going to try asking for forgiveness. So there's no going back from this. Oh my gosh. We've got vulnerable, defenseless, unprotected, helpless. Yeah, this person's pretending like they don't have connections. Like, it's almost like they're pretending like they're not distorted. Meanwhile, this person, I think this person knows they got some kind of an issue, because there's a tear in my eye. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I'm already feeling like you got to protect your energy against this person, girl. Because like I said, like, whoever this person is, you got played. Like, again, they held out. Like, I could see them getting you gifts. They're like, oh, look at this cute birdie. Look at this photo. Oh, let me support you. Maybe they pretended they were witchy or spiritual just to, like, get dirt on you. Because, like, behind closed doors, oh my God. This person was hired by somebody to eavesdrop on a situation that you were involved in. And there's some kind of a crime about that, where maybe this person was being paid to survey you. They're being paid to feed this person information so they could distort something or distort a relationship. Ooh, this is bad, y'all. I see this person praying, so this person could be religious, and they were pretending to be religious. I could see them pretending to be somebody's spouse. And, like, behind every dollar, you know what I mean? So I literally could see this person just being like, yeah, I'm a cover. Is someone paying someone to be there? I mean, I'm sure that's not how it happened, but I literally could see this person literally having a partner or paying someone to either live with them or live by them so they could eavesdrop and figure out what you know. And I feel like they're going to feel bad or sorry about it, but you're not having it. There's something about, like, you got to follow the money trail. There's some kind of a money trail that's going on where you're like, hold up, this person's doing this, this, and this, but why don't they ever have money? You know what I mean? Or, like, why is this, like, something about, like, someone was maybe in a vulnerable position and they lied about not having enough. So when the wind blew too hard, they got desperate. And they were heartbroken over losing somebody or something. And they felt really sorry and bad for this person. So they got roped up in something illegal to spite this relationship or to help this relationship. And maybe they were compassionate at first and caring, but they weren't protected like you were. And I'm just hearing fortune is a crime. Oh my gosh. I don't know if this person got involved with drugs or drug dealing. Maybe they feel bad for themselves. I feel like they damaged some really important relationships. And maybe that's over a connection with you. Maybe they damaged their relationship with you, fundamentally. Or something that your relationship was built on. And I think they feel really, really guilty and upset with themselves. Drifter, yeah, so I think this person pretends or projects that they're easygoing. They very much are calculated, and they don't have a lot of choices that they can make. Especially, like, they can't make a lot of mistakes right now. Again, because they're limited on their funding, right? And there's something about this person, they're drifting closer towards realization, and they're lying to themselves about your truth. Maybe they thought you were there to harm them when you were actually there telling the truth, and you were actually compassionate. and vulnerable. And secretly, they were the ones that were obsessed. But they see you going towards the light and they're left behind now. So now they're counting every single dollar that they make because they made mistakes with you. And they feel really, really bad. Oh my God. Wow. Wow, okay. Yeah, I don't even know what's going on with this pot, but this is crazy. There's some crazy ass wormholes this energy is going down. Okay, so we've got the Ace of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, and the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, so what this trickster's lying about is that they like your hard work. They don't like that you're hardworking. If anything, that really bugs the crap out of them because this person likes things to be easygoing. They want things to be simple, and they feel like you overcomplicate things. Maybe because you're smart and they don't understand, or they just don't give a shit. They don't want to hear the explanation. They see you working hard, though, and they're more focused on you than your story, than your work. Again, because they're looking at money, so they're trying to figure out like what you're doing so they can copy, so they can make sure that you always have money. Meanwhile, Spirit's the one that's guiding you, right? Spirit's the one that's looking out for you. And that's where they're kind of regretful, is because they believed a tarot reading that wasn't meant for them. Or they trusted somebody or something would come through when it didn't. Yeah, I'm seeing like what's being lied about here towards you is your circle of friends is not who they seem. Right? Like, it kind of sounds like there's just like a rotating, spinning wheel with this person where you and this person, your relationship doesn't grow. It goes back and forth. And I don't think you've ever paid attention to it because you're kind of defenseless sometimes, where you're like, oh yeah, I just want to go and call and vent to this person. Do not. If you identify this person, do not tell them anything else. They are making money off of you and what you're saying. Writing it down behind your back. They're going to make use of it later. Again, because somebody's doing a crime. It's like a petty crime or a thief, but like I could see them like writing down your ideas and selling them off to somebody just for a couple bucks. Maybe because they wanted a relationship with somebody that person never trusted them in the first place. Wow, yeah, the Seven of Pentacles, like, I feel like you guys have overcome some things. And I think where the lie is that maybe they made you out to be like you weren't hardworking. Maybe they thought because you were depressed or you were down on your luck. I'm just hearing they thought you were a bad person. You know what I mean? They thought you bought your way into stuff. Meanwhile, you worked hard for it. And you've got a lot of passion and light. But I feel like what they're trying to do is they're trying to distort your reality to not believing you have this fire inside of you that's different from everybody else. Because I think when they were vulnerable, they made bad decisions. However, you lost your umbrella, but you kept going. And that's the difference between you and this person. And that's why they have a lot of regrets, because they're like, how is it that you got this person's attention and I didn't? How is it that I'm compassionate and caring and I don't get money like you guys do, or blah, 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 and I can't do this? And it's like, there's a lot of stars in their eyes that are causing them to just see the finished product instead of all the work it took to get there. You know what I mean? And they're busy spiraling. So I do feel like jealousy may play a role with this person. But this person's coming to a realization very, very quickly that you are not someone to be messed with, or at least not your spirit guides. My eyes keep getting drawn to mimic you, Or it's like, I don't know if like maybe when this person's mask's revealed, they're going to be like, oops, hey, I was the one that was secretly stalking you. And they're going to be vulnerable with you. And they're going to feel really ashamed. Because they judged you over a situation because they thought you were just... And maybe they were trying to be protective. Again, they thought they were going to make a fortune. Wrong time and place. Wrong way to play. Damn. But yeah, my eyes just keep being drawn to this girl who's just like, because I don't think they have that much regret. That is, until a final decision comes from it. And someone goes to jail. I don't know. Anyways, y'all, take what resonates, because that was a roller coaster. And there could be any number of ways that this story could fulfill this. But I think the short answer is, I think you guys know that money talks. Just be very, very careful about who you share your secrets to. And you're going to be taken care of. You know, just watch your business. And, you know, pay attention for criminal behavior in your life. Watch your money. Watch your whatever, bank accounts. Just follow the money. And it's going to lead you to your destination. Okay? All right, and then finally we're going to get messages from your guides and ancestors. Okay? And what you need to know. We've got Hunter, track down your fears and desires. Ooh, you got the hats for somebody. I'm just seeing all these horns. I'm hearing like the Horned King. This looks very primal and primitive. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like your spirit guide team is warning you that you already have everything you need inside of yourself. So projecting things onto a partner is not going to help you in this situation. You already have your intuition. You already have the ability to protect yourself. And I'm also feeling like you have divine masculine ancestors that are capable of protecting you at this time. So it's okay to kind of like get a little dirty. I'm feeling like just go out in nature and get really, really like focused. You know what I mean? Focus on what you gotta do to get to from point A to point B. Don't let all this bullshit get in your way. And just let the money come in. This is your all clear. Go ahead. Keep chasing what you've been chasing in that relationship. It wasn't going to work out anyway, but damn, you just blew something up without even knowing it. And you're going to make some good money off of it. All right. Anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much for your time and energy. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below if this resonated with you. And yeah, check out my website and blog for more information about mental health and spirituality and other cool stuff. I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, everyone. You have chosen group number 3, and these are going to be your messages on who is trying to trick you and or what is the trickster energy going on in this situation. Y'all, last pile was wild, but this is even crazier. Okay, so when I was pulling your cards, I was getting so happy. All right, and like I remember this. It's called Mimikyu. It's a Pokemon that's a ghost type that pretends to look like a Pikachu, but it's actually like really, really powerful and like can mess up your day. And when I saw that sticker, it was reminding me of a pick a card pile I did in the past where it was like, oh, it's like this person who's pretending to be looking like this when actually they're really, really sweet and they love you and whatever. And I was like, as I was pulling cards, I was like really, really happy and like getting all these good vibes. And yeah, when I was like determining the piles, like each category is a different aspect of the reading that I'm gonna do. And this was going to be about the truth, right? So we're starting off with talking about the situation to make sure that this is your correct pile for you. And if not, take what resonates, leave, go to another pile. But being perfectly honest, I feel like this pile's for you guys, and you're going to see why. this is the situation. This is describing who this trickster person is, so you can identify them. And then this normally would be, what are they lying about or lying to you about? This just said, oh, it's the truth, right? And then this is advice from your spirit guide team and whatever. Well, things got really weird when at first I was like, yeah, I'm feeling so happy. And I was like, oh, I gotta make sure I ground. And so I put both feet on the ground. And suddenly the energy, it just felt like my stomach dropped. And I was like, oh my God. Like, this person's not safe at all. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, so if that resonates with any of you, please stick around, because it sounds like maybe someone's in love with a narcissist, or someone's really denying that, like, oh yeah, the little angry person underneath this is not to be fucked with. Like, that is not your friend, honey. That is not your spiritual buddy, okay? And it's kind of like I'm seeing, like, with the sticker even, you know, the Mimikyu's got its eyes that are all scrambled and it's looking a little frustrated. And I kind of feel like that's you, where you were, like, really starstruck by somebody, or you're like, wow, oh my gosh, and then you're like, oh shit, that's a bad dude, or that's a bad girl. Like, they're not okay. You know what I mean? Alright. Yeah, I feel like maybe there was, like, a fantasy projection thing going on, but let's look at your cards and see what you've got, okay? Because you've got the Strength card, which says Hero. You've got Master, which I don't think that's the Hierophant. Let me check real fast. It's the Magician. Okay. We've got Proud, Victorious, Accomplished, Masterful. Roller Coaster. Oh my gosh, you've been on an up and down, tumultuous relationship with this person for a while. Oh, but this person's such a bad person. Oh gosh. Stagnant. Childish. Doubt. Yeah, okay, so take what resonates, but, like, the situation, this, I feel like for a lot of you this will be a partner, but for some of you guys this is a parent, or maybe a baby daddy or baby mommy. Highest high adrenaline rush. Yeah, this person, oh god, so this is the kind of person, I'm hearing, like, they're territorial, they love bomb you. So this person, what they do is they intentionally keep things chaotic in your relationship so you don't notice the red flags. It's almost like they put a spell on you, right? Where they make you feel so incredible and amazing and good. They trap you, and then they feed off you and slowly erode your will. Yeah, it's like Proud. This... At first, I thought it was like, oh yeah, you guys are doing a great job and whatever, and this person's jealous. They're like, no. This person, all of the eyes has to be on them. So if, for example, they're interested in somebody, and you take away attention from that person, oh my god, you're going to piss them off so bad. But, like, this is the kind of pissed off that's not like, alright, I'm going to send a nasty email, or I'm going to blah blah blah. This person's like, death. Like, this person, I would be like, you want to be careful about domestic violence or something scary happening, okay? And with the Hero card, it kind of tells me, like, maybe you guys try to play hero. So maybe you're out there being like, yeah, let's save the day, let's save all the animals, let's stick it to the man, right? And maybe you tried to save this person. Maybe you thought this person was a lost puppy. And they're like, yeah, I'm all cute and cuddly, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, they were, like, analyzing you, trying to determine if you're prey. Maybe you let go of someone that in their mind, they're like, you shouldn't have let me go. And it's like, dude, like, it was just a tarot reading. Sheesh. You know what I mean? It's kind of like this person really tries to mirror human emotions. And I'm hearing, like, back against the wall. So again, it doesn't really matter if this person's always like this. I'm feeling it's more like sociopath energy. Really traumatized, angry, dangerous person. That sure, maybe sometimes they are cute and cuddly. Until they ain't. They ain't safe, hon. Okay? Whoever this person is, you are not safe around. Alright? With stagnant, We've got someone's not talking to another person, or someone feels like they can't talk about something. Right. This person is stagnant in their life, where I'm almost seeing like this pool of water where maybe they seem very calm on the surface, but underneath there's just poison. Maybe somebody has blue eyes. Maybe someone's bald, or they have a big forehead. I feel like this person's known to be a strategic thinker, and they're rewarded for that at work. I'm seeing like an office. Yeah, there's something just very cunning and intelligent about this person. And they make you goo-goo-eyed crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm feeling like you guys really, like, you hit it off. You're like, boom, boom, boom. And you didn't understand how this rejection set this person off in the wrong kind of way. Again, you are divinely protected, but again, follow your spirit guides' words, please. Let your spirit guides guide your path to safety and away from this person. With the Magician, I feel like maybe you've been manifesting some things. Maybe you work with this person. Or maybe, like, for example, Master, maybe someone was a boss or your boss. Maybe someone tried to put a ring on it, or they were trying to rush a relationship with you. Someone didn't fall for a trap, though. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like there's like a fake smile that maybe you saw through, and you're like, something's telling me something's off, so I'm gonna leave. Yeah, I'm seeing like the sword and the stone. So maybe you could pull the sword from the stone, but this person wasn't worthy, and they couldn't pull it from the rock. So what that's telling me is, from Spirit, it's kind of like in the night everything gets revealed. So I could definitely see this person like having sex with other people behind your back without you really realizing it. I'm hearing like uploading photos to their stories, or like I could see them like getting into your phone and like while you're asleep publishing something embarrassing about you publicly, maybe a nude photo or something. Because they want to make the hero look bad. Yeah, maybe someone's been sharing your nudes out of spite or rage. Someone was childish in this relationship, and this could be both of you, right? Where maybe you were kind of like walking in naively, but like this person is very focused on themselves. Very stubborn, very much like nothing you can say can get through to them. Maybe they believe in conspiracy theories, like with aliens and stuff. Maybe they like Star Wars. Maybe they like imperialism. That was weird. Yeah, because I'm seeing like the Imperial Army, so I'm hearing like literally like, with Darth Vader, da 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 da. Gosh, and I feel like you piss them off because you're independent. You didn't like fall in their arms right away. In fact, you probably ghosted this person, or you kind of said, "Oh, nope, I'm done. Nope, nope, nope." You did what now? I didn't like how you said that. And I feel like it's been a roller coaster with this person, where you're kind of like, okay, well, we had a really great time, but then why didn't you do this? Or why didn't this happen? Why this? You know what I mean? You stuck to your guns. Okay. And you confused this person. And so this person was like, huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Huh? Meanwhile, they were just gauging you. I literally see it like a cat, where it's like you try one move just to see how you react. Because they think you're prey. Right? They want you to reveal how much you know. Because it's a strategy. Because they want to figure out how to work around you to get your clothes off. Essentially, this person likes to have sex with you, wants to have sex with you, but wants... I can see this person trying to baby trap you for money reasons. Holding you hostage for years. Ooh, you dodged a bullet, guys. And then doubt. So, another thing about your relationship with this person is, or the situation that's going on between you and them, is you were doubting your relationship. Right? You were doubting your connection. This person wasn't showing up. This person was giving you reason to think that they weren't interested. I could see this person talking... I could see them like talking to you on the phone for a while. Getting you to feel comfortable, blah, blah, blah. but like you always were sitting there feeling like something doesn't feel quite right. You know what I mean? Like you were kind of just like, you could see them like the way they would guide a situation to always come back to themselves. You know what I mean? And you were kind of like, I don't really feel like this person's invested in me per se. I think they just like having access to me. So I'm going to walk away. And again, because you're really good at utilizing your energy efficiently and quickly, you're able to assess, move on, and continue to use what you learned. There's something about like the way you can alchemize situations. You know what I mean? Every time they try to do something shitty, normally other wounded people, they can't adapt. They can't manipulate the situation in their favor. They get stuck, they get stressed out, and then this person swoops in and does whatever. You, on the other hand, this is how they found out you had a big fucking sword. Excuse my French, but like, yeah, maybe this person intentionally doesn't like cussing, or is very like, don't talk this way to me. You know what I mean? They're like, I gotta make sure that you are speaking in a very specific way, or otherwise you don't get access to love. Yeah, very controlling and manipulative. And again, acting all confused. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what? You think we're dumb here? I don't know, but you're a hero. Your spirit guide team's just like... And maybe you looked out for someone else too. You know what I mean? Maybe you stood your ground and someone else is calling you a hero because they're like, wow, I wouldn't have never been able to pull that off with that person. You got them to just say, what now? Meanwhile, you were like experiencing this emotional roller coaster and be like, oh my gosh, I have all these strong feelings for this person and I just don't know. And I'm like, nah. You exposed that who they are and you were just doubting yourself in your subconscious because you got eyes too. You know what I mean? And I see you covering your mouth just to stay warm. You just don't say certain things because you know it's bad. Meanwhile, this person, they're like, well, I'm angry and I'm in charge. But don't mess with the lion under the surface. Yeah, it's like I feel like that energy just drops. And it's like, ugh, so creepy. Yeah, this is the kind of situation where you really can't talk to people. You can't help them. Not unless, like, these people are psychologically damaged, okay? And while I want everyone to get help they need, no. Spirit's saying, let that be someone else's lesson, okay? Don't date predatory people that don't give a shit if you get hurt. Okay? I know maybe you let somebody go, and you're like, no. No, clear signs. All right, so this is how you know who this trickster person is. I feel like they're a heartthrob type personality. They know how to work a room. They can be a little silly, a little awkward at times. But they are affectionate at a cost, right? So it's kind of like they want you to always be performing in a certain energy. And if you're not performing, suddenly it's not fun. Yeah, something's gonna blow up in their face. It's gonna blow up in your face too, but you're gonna walk away unscathed. Okay? Okay. So you have the Empress. You have the King of Swords in reverse. Ooh, for those of you that know tarot, there you go. King of Swords doesn't surprise me at all. And then you got the Three of Swords, which that's all about heartache. You also got malicious, refuses to take responsibility, tries to ruin your reputation, provoking, wanting a negative reaction, man-child, adult that acts like a child, depressed, empty, numb, withdrawn, and surprised, startling, astonished, shocked. I feel like this person was surprised by you. And surprised by your patience and determination to either expose them to do something, I don't know. I see them like, I literally see you like kind of waving at them, right? And they're like, yeah, okay. Like, I suddenly had this image of like Homelander, you know, where like he's trying to work a crowd And Queen Maeve comes walking up and she's like, oh, hey, Homelander. And he's just like, yeah, you? You're talking to me? I don't know, like there's something about like you that caught this person off guard. Okay. And so with surprise, I don't know if there was like a celebration for them or something. There was some kind of a mystery going on. I don't know. Because I'm seeing like a woman waving. I don't know if that's like somebody trying to get their attention. Maybe you were trying to get this person's attention and they were surprised that you didn't chase after them. Yeah, because I feel like they're so used to people throwing themselves at this person that that's where your kind of distortion is because you were like, yeah, hey, I'm a normal human being. I don't run up to people and try to kiss them and try to do all of this over-the-top thinking stuff. So then to them, they're always used to playing robot pretend. And it's like, it's somebody that you had their back, right? Meanwhile, they're just caught off guard being like, oh, nope, I'm innocent. When you're like, what do you mean you're innocent? What does that have to do? You know what I mean? It literally feels like a robot person or a person who's trying to pretend like they fit in when they clearly don't, you know? And it's really uncanny valley vibes. This person could also have autism, but like, you know, having autism isn't an excuse for being an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, if you know, you know. We've got depressed, so maybe this person does have clinical depression, so they weaponize their mental health issues, or they're always in a dark, stormy cloud. Clouded energy. Man-child, yeah. That kind of stands out. Maybe they have abs, maybe they like to work out, maybe they're the kind of... I'm sorry, I was thinking about somebody from my past. But, like, basically, what this person would do is... This person was, like, older than me, but they talked like an 18-year-old, right? Like, I'm 30, and when I met this person, it was back during the pandemic, so I was, like, 25, right? And this person, like, it's really gross when you're seeing an adult who talks like they're 18, 16, or whatever, and like, you know what I mean, like being within like the first 2 dates and they're making like lewd jokes or really ridiculous statements and you're like, oh, you didn't age beyond middle school, you know what I mean? It just feels really, you know, like pathetic, where they're like, yeah, boobs and money and drugs and power and something about shaving. I don't know, but there's something about, like, they literally thought you'd be impressed by just what they look like or what they do. And it's because they're a kid. Like, they don't know how to relate to normal human beings. Another sign of who this person is they've gone through a lot of heartache. So they always have, like, a, haha, I stood up to you and blah, blah, blah. And it's almost like... You've got, like, the good versus the bad Chow arguing back and forth, where the good people are like, hey, you shouldn't have done that. And this person's like, nah, you're just oppressing me. You know, I'm a victim. Or I'm not a victim, but I am. You're just being mean to me. And you're sitting there going, like, what is the truth and what's the lie? And I don't know. I think you can trust an angel over a man-child. No offense. Especially with one that has like a giant ego, like with this King of Swords in reverse. Holy cow. Like, this person's like, it's kind of like they try to pretend like they have superpowers when they're really just a narcissist. You know what I mean? They think every thought they have is like groundbreaking, and they get frustrated and confused when other people don't understand them, but they're like, that's okay, it's because I'm so great. Provoking, yeah, this person wants negative attention towards them, right? That's how they try to snatch people, is they're like, ooh, let me show off my new tattoo. Let me show off. Let me give you the cold shoulder, make you feel bad. So, like, for example, if you were trying to get their attention and you didn't do something they liked, they'd be like, I want you to feel the cold shoulder and see how it affects me. You know what I mean? But, like, they do this to, like, multiple people at the same time. You are just strategic. And I feel like this person wants your attention because of a gift you have, right? So maybe you're very intuitive. Maybe you have a nice smile. Maybe you're attractive. With this virtuous heart, though, I feel like it's the Empress. I think it's because they know that you have power, which means money, the ability to get away with more things, the ability to manipulate you to work in their favor. And they're stubborn, so they don't want to face their own problems. They don't want to face their heartache. And I feel like maybe you've had a conversation or two with this person. I feel like you don't talk very often to this person because you couldn't get their attention. And they're going to be very surprised when they find out what you're capable of. And then that's when all the anger comes out and all the demons. Yeah, so again, please do not date this person. And then finally, malicious, refuses to take responsibility, tries to ruin your reputation. Oh yeah, this person's talking shit about you to everybody the moment you reject them, right? But nobody really cares because they're like, we just keep you around because you look good and we work around you. You know what I mean? And there's something about, like, this person thinks you're soft. You know? I almost hear like they want you to be even more attractive. You know, they're like, well, you'd be more attractive if you did this, this, and this. And, like, it's very maliciously intended. But I feel like they know how to, like, make jokes. You know what I mean? Maybe they make jokes about depression. Maybe they... I could see them definitely having, like, a dark sense of humor. Or trying to come across as really edgy when they're hiding just how... Yeah, like, I don't want to even put my feet on the ground right now. I'm catching myself, like, wrapping my arms around my legs. But yeah, they feed off of negative attention. And my eyes just went to my Archangel Michael statue, and I was like, ooh, well, that's not gonna fly with you now, is it? Wow, but I don't know. I think you guys pretty well know who this person is. I feel like their behavior is pretty obvious. Unless, again, when you're not grounded, oh yeah, they seem amazing. The moment you get grounded, you're like, ew, get out of my life. You know what I mean? You're like, it's kind of like after you date an ex and then you look back and you're like, holy cow, how did they bag me? And it was because it was strategic and because you weren't okay. Only reason that happened. I also feel like this person liked to argue with you. And they were in your headspace a lot, distracting you. So here's the truth, or what they are lying about. So we've got twin flame. They're not your twin flame. Nope. They want you to believe that there's this fiery, divine passion between you. No. They're lying because they're like, you're secondary, but also, like, they're lying about the fact that you are secondary, that you are being left behind intentionally because you can't keep up, because you're not a narcissist. Like, I'm literally seeing it kind of being like, well, you weren't invited to this party because you didn't, you know, kiss the king's ring. You know what I mean? And you didn't get that memo because you're like, that's fucking weird. And it's like, yeah, because a narcissist only allows certain people into their circle because they're people they can control. Right? I'm hearing, like, literally like a gang, you know? And it's an effective method for people that have been traumatized. Wealthy people do it. Certain kinds of wealthy people do it. But in your case, you're like, I just came to have a good time. What are y'all doing? You know what I mean? Maybe you're like, oh yeah, I really like that person. And it was like, but notice how with this twin flame, you don't see people. You like this idea. You like the concept of a passionate romance. Meanwhile, they're leaving you behind. They knew you liked them in that way, but you were, as they put it, too stupid. I'm like, they weren't stupid. You guys have a heart of gold, and it protected you. And also because you got higher self-esteem than this shit. I'm sorry. Maybe you don't feel like that, but trust me, you did. Especially in this person's hopping mad about that. They're like, I feel like this energy argues with me constantly. I'm like, dude, it's the reading, you know? Yeah, maybe some of you guys have an inner critic that mirrors this narcissist energy. So if you've ever been hurt by a narcissist growing up, yeah, this might be why you're having some Blinders. I'm also hearing Peaky Blinders. Oh God, is this that type of This is the type of guy or girl that loves Peaky Blinders and tries to like quote that one guy, the Irish guy. Yeah, because they want to pretend like they're smarter than everyone else when they're not. We've got retaliation, punish, payback, revenge. Yeah, maybe they promised you they wouldn't say anything behind your back. That was a lie. Karmic, third-party relationship lesson, shadow work. Yeah, so for you guys, maybe they lied about having multiple partners at the same time. Definitely cheater. Maybe they were in a relationship with somebody when they were seeing you. I feel like this person does want to punish you for something that you didn't even do, but you wouldn't let them get away with it, and that's why it backfired, and you didn't see it coming. Some of you got hit by this, other people didn't. We got shadow work. So this person does not like that you work with shadow, because that's what their distortion is, right? Because when you call it a shadow, they call it being a human being. They don't see anything bad with it, with this distortion, because they are rewarded for it by other people with the same distortion. And so because you can separate the man from the shadow, they judge you for it, because they thought you were going to be somebody else that was going to go along with it. They're like, oh, well, you have the same demon as me. Why are you hanging out with the weak people? The thems. And you're like, well, because I have a conscience. You know what I mean? I have a divine gift. You know, I am looking for that passionate love. My twin. Your twin brother. Okay, so we've got the Three of Wands. Yeah, so someone was lying about a decision. All right, we've got the King of Pentacles. Maybe Sonic the Hedgehog is significant. We've got inspired, moved, stimulated, challenged, relieved, reassured, soothed, at ease, easily triggered, miserable, wakes up just to project their misery onto someone else. Maybe someone likes to pretend they're a cop. Oh my gosh, and they wear like the uniform. Like I could see this person buying guns just because their friends like it. They want to wear like paramilitary gear and blah 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 and rub one out in their fake uniform. Ugh. We've got negotiator, bargaining, begging, medicating. Oh gosh, this is toxicity, invading, and interview, talk, conversation, get on the same page. Yeah, so I feel like this is a lot of cards, but basically just to summarize what this person's lying about, they want you to believe that if you just have a conversation, things are going to be okay. But like this person thinks that they're just divinely in charge of everything around them. So this interview is literally them saying like, all right, I'll give you another shot. Come over here, but like I'm going to tell you how it is. And you better submit to me or else. I feel like they are lying because they're relieved or reassured or something. Because I almost see like this firefighter giving this girl this cat, but they're literally holding onto the cat to try to take it back away just because it's funny, because they want to see a child cry. Yeah, with like easily triggered, that's another thing they lie about, is they are so easily triggered because they have PTSD. And I'm almost seeing with the scissors, like they're like quick to cut somebody off. You know what I mean? Either while you're talking, or again with mushrooms, maybe they get high a lot because we've got medicating over here. And then with King of Rings, it's almost like with Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm almost like maybe they are very popular, and or they like to pretend like they're popular and they get away with it because they are good at one or two things, right? I'm feeling like two things or too many things, but like they move very, very fast, you know, throughout life, you know, no slowing down. I could see them lying about how much they miss you and how miserable they are without you and blah, blah, blah. I'm here without you, baby. Yeah, it's all lies. With Inspired, I could see them being like, yeah, I'm going to write you a song. Maybe they wrote some music, sent it your way to be like, hey, babe, I was thinking of you today and just Meanwhile, they made it with AI. Oh my gosh. Maybe they think of a lot of things, but they don't actually write it down or do anything about it. They lie about negotiating when really they're just going to manipulate it. They're going to manipulate you and try to get their way anyway. And invading, like, you have no privacy with this person. This person feels entitled to your phone, your computer, your laptop, because they project onto you that, like, well, since you're like property, or like you're an object. Yeah, not necessarily property like slavery, but like you're an object to them. They feel like that you don't really have sovereignty, that because they're either your husband or your landlord, or they're some authority figure, that you have no right to privacy, because they're like, well, what if there is something bad going on, so I need to see this. And it's like, no, actually you don't. Just no boundaries. But that's what they're lying about, is because it's kind of like with the devil. You have to invite the devil in order to let it do its chaos, right? But if you don't invite it in, you're safe. That's why you protect yourself. Yeah, I also feel like they kind of make fun of you when you're down. You know what I mean? Like, I could see this person intentionally sabotaging, like, either like your car or doing weird little things that you wouldn't notice until you were gone. But you're like, huh. Oh god, that's like, ugh. This is so gross. Yeah, and I feel like they rely on you being distorted. You know what I mean? To not notice these things, or to really chalk them up as like, oh, I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, this person's a predator, and they are a problem. All right. Well, we are now going to get into the messages from Spirit, your spirit guide team, and what advice they have for you. So I'm hearing just like, walk away and never look back. We've got Page of Pentacles, angry, mad, furious, enraged. Oh yeah, so this is like pile number 4, but for some reason my spirit guide team was saying, hey, bring this over here. Like, what you have is dead, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be another relationship that's far better for you, that's going to come back. And it's going to be better this time. It's going to be good for you, right? Because this person healed somewhat, and you're going to realize why you had to walk away from this person at first. Because they were very upset, but it's going to be okay. We've got mind games. Okay. And then lady, enjoy growth and reap rewards. Okay. For some reason I'm thinking of a place I worked at back home. Yeah, so maybe you're going to return somewhere. I'm hearing like, watch your distortions. Yeah, be careful of mind games. So for example, yeah, because like even right now I'm sitting here like I'm already drifting into like La La Land, and I'm like, no. This person's playing mind games. You can't be checking out. Maybe you're on social media too much. Watch a lot of tarot readings. Just kind of spend more time outside, taking care of yourself, drink water. I think maybe setting some small goals for yourself. And just like, I don't know, I see you trying to catch this Pokemon when, like, don't catch this Pokemon. You know what I mean? So if you're not dating this person, maybe you're looking at him and you're like, oh yeah, this is like my soulmate. No. Take your Pokeball back. Take your ring back. Don't try to marry them. Don't try to whatever. You will regret this. Hands down. And maybe you're going to be upset for a time being, but God, you are going to be thanking God when you find another person over this person. And then enjoy growth and reap rewards. Yeah, for some of you guys, you've been working really, really hard. And Spirit is so proud of you. Your ancestors are so proud of you. And they want you to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? Of you working hard and being a good person. You shouldn't have to be playing mind games to survive. Some of that's life, but like, again, being able to grow older and have experiences find love. You know, all that's gonna blow up if you marry this type of person. You know what I mean? Hell, you could get hurt. And your spirit guide team's saying, hey, you are a lady or a man. Like, think of someone who's dignified and holds themselves strong. You know, you're an adult. You can make decisions for yourself. And even if you're a little naive at times, doesn't mean you can't defend yourself, right? And you've got something good coming towards you. Let spirit guide something to you. And you're going to know this, not by following synchronicities, but you're going to feel it inside of your body. You're going to feel safe. You're going to feel slow. You're going to feel, I was almost like sleepy, and I was like, yes and no, that's going to change based off the person. But like, you are going to be very angry and upset when you look back on this situation and realize how much time you wasted, how much money you wasted on someone who was definitely not safe for you. All right, but hey, you make mistakes and that's life, y'all. And listen, you were still protected at the end of the day, and that's what matters most. Anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below if this resonates with you. If you're interested in booking a reading, links are in the description. And also check out my blog and my website where I have information linking to resources, mental health information, and more. Come check it out, y'all. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Ooh. Hello everyone, you have chosen group number 4, and these are going to be your messages on who is trying to trick you and who or what is this trickster energy. So y'all had a very interesting message while I was pulling cards, because first of all, you're the only pile that has 5 piles of cards, okay? And this is how the reading in general has been structured. We start off with what is the situation, so we're going to get a gauge of what's actually happening in your situation. Oof, maybe someone's got some negativity in their head and I was just like, no, it's okay, seriously, do your thing. But this is the situation, so if this reading resonates with you, stick around. If not, just select another pile or try a different reading. You don't have to take every message as it is, you know, only go with your intuition and your gut, which I feel like you guys are going to be okay. If you choose the wrong pile every once in a while, you're okay. You guys seem to be very in tune, you know, and you have a big heart, so it's okay. But then, yeah, so then the next part of the message is going to be, who is this trickster, or the person trying to trick you? Right off the bat, I don't feel like this is a trickstery person. I mean, maybe kind of, but maybe more in like the silly way. Like, they know how to surprise you. Like, I was thinking about a time I snuck up on my friend while they were doing tarot readings in the park, and I was like sneaking up behind them, and I did it in a very comical manner, right? So that's kind of more the playful vibe I get for you guys. But yeah, this is who that person is. Then we're going to get into what are they lying about. Then we're going to get a message from your spirit guides, angels, you know, some advice about the situation. However, you guys had a 5th pile, which is about a secret that's going to get revealed. And I'm like so excited for this secret, because I'm like, all right, what the heck is the secret, right? And I feel like there was like a pinky promise, like maybe you and somebody else made a promise a long time ago that you don't remember, maybe when you were little kids, or maybe you're like, okay, you made a promise to yourself that you're going to wait. I just feel like something is going to come back from the dead. For good this time, which again, that could be a metaphor of you stepping into your power, but I do feel like you know, you guys have done the work to take care of yourself. So that's when this person's finally going to come in. Because literally, I was thinking, like, all right, I can just push through this reading. And I was like, nope, nope, nope. We're going to drink some water, use the bathroom, do whatever. All right, now everything's settled. Great. You know what I mean? So, you guys, if that's confirmation, this is the pile for you. Okay? But yeah, there was something going on here. Like, maybe someone was a mentor and someone was a mentee. There might be a little bit of an age gap, but not too much. Twin vibes. So you guys get along really, really well. Okay, let's go ahead and stop speculating and get into the cards. Yeah, there was something about, like, while I was pulling your cards, I pulled something very specific. Yeah, I feel like you don't trust this situation or you don't trust this person. I heard, like, Dr. Good, you know? Where it's almost like you think there's going to be, like, a Mr. Hyde behind this Dr. Jekyll, but this person's really actually is good. So that's kind of interesting. So maybe that's where you can trust this person with your heart. Okay, so let's look at this situation. We've got Stargazer, set your sights higher. Yeah, someone's like, you need to dream bigger. What are you doing hanging out with these lowlifes? And you're like, I don't know. They're not lowlifes. And they're like, yes, they are. Yeah, I'm hearing, like, follow your dreams. I don't know, maybe you and this person like to argue sometimes, but in a silly, joking manner, not like a controlling way. Yeah, I don't know, like, I feel really drawn to this person, so I'm almost like, oh my gosh, like, I really like looking at their eyes, or, like, they have a very attractive face, but something about them feels very familiar. So maybe they kind of look like you, or maybe there's something about them that, like, you trusted in your intuition and you knew that this person was coming, or vice versa, because maybe this person's into astrology versus you're into tarot readings, or a different arrangement. But yeah, I feel like their sights have been on you, you know, so I feel like this person's, like, trying to reel you in. You know, I almost see, like, a very intense gaze, but it softens when you're around, I guess. I don't know. I really want to try to distinguish between you guys and the last pile, because I think you guys are kind of getting a little confused when, like, this is a very specific frequency. I feel calm. I'm not, like, giddy, happy. I'm more just like, yeah, I feel good. You know what I mean? Covenant, sacred contract. Yeah, so maybe you have a soul contract with this person. Maybe you have a written or verbal contract with them. Like I said, like, there's more of, like, this promises. So maybe you guys promised each other that you would find each other again, maybe in this life or a past life. We've got travel. Okay, so maybe you or this other person likes to travel. We've got 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, you guys have a lot of cards. I feel like, oh, one thing I was picking up on is, like, you and this person cannot stop talking to each other. If it's not, like, spiritually, it's in person, it's just like blah, 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 blah. It's like, you get it, you love each other. We've got spiritual thief, steals from readers, spiritual people, and creates fake accounts. Sexual Oni, no real emotions. These were literally cards I got from another reading I did. Literally almost the exact same. What the hell? I've done, like, other readings with this deck. That's weird. Okay, we've got karmic partner. Mask. Yeah, so someone's not showing true feelings. Safe, secure, sheltered, protected. Unavailable. And we've got worried, concerned, troubled, uneasy. Yeah, maybe you're upset about the way something ended between you and another person. Maybe you've been feeling ill, or maybe you've been having a hard time accepting that maybe this person's sick. Maybe you really want to take care of this person and nurture this person, but you're not exactly sure how. Maybe there's a sick child situation, so maybe you had to attend to something instead of focusing on a relationship instead. Maybe even your inner child, you know, maybe you've been healing your inner child. But someone's definitely wearing a mask. I feel like maybe both of you are, but they're different. You know what I mean? So it's like you and another person have been, I'm hearing, like, enmeshed or entangled for a while now, because this feels like years that this relationship's been going on, but someone's been, like, looking through, like, a lens, and they've been analyzing the relationship instead of actually, like, experiencing it. And that's where this covenant is almost like I was hearing like the Ark of the Covenant, so maybe someone likes old movies like Indiana Jones. Maybe someone likes to write, or maybe someone's a reader, or they're like fantasy. Lucky number 7 might be useful, so someone might like to gamble. But yeah, spiritual thief. This gives me like Charlie's Angels vibes. So maybe there's like an energy of like good girl gone bad about either you or another person. My stomach's rumbling, so I'm like, that might be a sign as well that maybe someone was hungry. Girls gotta eat, so you know what we're gonna be doing? You know? Maybe there's some OnlyFans going on here. Sexual only, no real emotions. Yeah, so maybe some of you guys have been like, yeah, I mean, we're just having sex, but we're not like a thing. You know what I mean? Karmic partner. Yeah, so maybe somebody was dating somebody else. Maybe you guys were never really single at the same time, or vice versa. I feel like you were like looking at your phone distracted by something else, meanwhile this person was talking to somebody else. So it really never came across that they were interested in you. And I think they were just worried, you know, because I could see this person reaching out to you, trying to like comfort you, because they're like, oh my gosh, you seem like a really nice person. Why are you going through all this stuff? You know, and you were sitting there like, give me a little extra love. Aww. Unavailable, yeah, so maybe someone was unavailable to date or to really invest in a relationship because they were busy with work, or maybe they were, I don't know, I'm hearing like, I'm projecting, so like be very careful when you're trying to watch this reading, because I feel like some of you guys, your distortion of what love is still getting in the way and impacting. So for example, with this 5 of Rings, this tells me maybe you had to make a hard decision to leave because you were financially insecure, and you're like, hey, if you can't pay my bills, I need to move on. You know what I mean? Or like with travel, maybe you had to travel somewhere to find work. So you had to leave this person behind, or vice versa. You know, maybe someone was overseas for a bit. But they had eyes for you. Yeah. This person's really pretty. You know, or you're really pretty. But yeah, there's a weird distortion here, because like I feel like this description really doesn't, this could describe a lot of things, and this feels very vague. And this kind of highlights an energy that I frequently get frustrated with, which, no offense, Spirit, I get it. It's really vague, right? Like all of the other piles, I'm like, this is very specific, but because this seems to be a trickster energy that's very much like, not with like ill intent, it feels like it's very much intentional to teach, and the trick is really about the masks that you and another person are wearing when you're actually like soulmates, maybe twin flames, maybe blah blah blah. And you know, maybe you're safe and sound right now, but there's a storm outside, and I keep hearing like, get your ass back out into the storm, and it's like, why? Why? If this person made you feel safe and comfortable, why are you going running outside without a jacket? Like, let this person take care of you. It's like, let that man love you. You know what I mean? It's like, shit. Yeah, maybe you turned your back on someone, or this person turned their back on you, and then they're like worrying about you. Stargazer, yeah, maybe this person likes space. Big dreams. NASA. Yeah, I don't know. This just feels like this is a love interest situation. Anyways, though, if none of this resonates, you know, you can select another pile. Take what resonates. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into more understanding of what the heck's going on. Also, I was told that this Mimic You sticker is also relevant. So, we're gonna keep him around because he is playing a role in this story. Sorry, I just need to clear some space out here. Yeah, but it sounds like somebody is wearing a mask towards you. So, that's who is trying to trick you. Okay. And these are like the secret. All right, so this is who is trying to trick you, I guess. Maybe into believing that they don't have feelings for you, or that they're pretending to be somebody else. Yeah, we've got pretending, fake living beyond means, guarded. So who this person is they are intentionally trying to impress you. They want you to think that they are wealthy or at a better stage in life than they normally would be. We've got guarded, so maybe they come across as someone who doesn't reveal too much at first, but they have a shy sweet spot. I could see this person liking to garden. We've got powerless, paralyzed, ineffective, weak. Yeah, they feel like they are powerless around you. Like, you just turn them on in a certain kind of way, and they're literally like, oh God. You know what I mean? Like, they feel like their hands are tied behind their back when you're around. And maybe they are deathly afraid of, like, asking you out. With trust, reliant, independent, they trust you. They are someone you trust. Okay, so even though they are tricking you, you trust this person. Destruction. Ooh, so maybe someone had a bad childhood growing up. Yeah, or maybe you did, but I feel like this is like something about this person. You know, there's something fake about this person that they don't want you to know. Because they don't like to talk about it, of course. We've got plugged in, tuned in, internet connected. Yeah, so maybe your relationship is primarily online, or they like your posts, they watch your stuff pretty frequently, but I feel like they're pretending to pay attention. Meanwhile, I could see them literally just throwing on a video of yours just to hear your voice, right? And there's something just powerless about, or they feel powerless in the situation because they can't get to you, that they have to use the internet to engage. And maybe you're feeling guarded because of you watching them self-destruct, right? Yeah. I'm kind of seeing, like, you know, blowing up a building, and it's like, maybe you shouldn't have done that. And you're sitting there like, I don't really trust you now. And now they're like, wait, no, you can trust me, I swear. Money issues, up and against the wall. Sounds kind of horny. Cheater. So maybe this person cheated on you in the past with someone else when they really didn't want to be in a relationship with them, but they wanted to be in a relationship with you. There's something deceptive about that, though. Because maybe this person used to cheat. Cheat a lot, actually. Because they didn't have control of their body, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. With money issues, I feel like this person mismanages money at times. Like, for example, maybe they're over generous at times. Or, like, I could see them giving money to the homeless, but then it backfires when they're like, oh shit, I forgot I had to pay for this. Dang. You know what I mean? And I feel like they're kind of plugged into whatever it is they're doing to a point where they forget that they're like, hey, I have to actually stay on budget, you know? Which I relate to that. Ooh, okay. Man, they really have strong feelings for you. You've got the Ace of Water, the Ace of Cups, and then the 10 of Pentacles, or 10 of Rings. I'm also hearing ring, 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 so maybe they're on the phone a lot. Maybe you guys talk on the phone. And then we've got Falling Angel, Spiritual Narcolepsy. Okay, let's do 19. Falling Unconscious, Spiritual Narcolepsy. You are being cautioned now to not fall asleep or go unconscious. You have been flying above the strife and suffering of the world in angelic bliss. However, you risk being seduced by the beauty and comfort of your situation and losing track of your aspirations. Your wings as you fall. Losing track of your aspirations, your wings. As you fall, you pick up speed, heading towards the trees below and possibly a nasty landing. Remember that all you need to do to stop being a falling angel is to spread your wings to halt your descent and then find an updraft again. Do not be seduced by the fallen angels. your supposed friends and companions who are ready to use you for their pleasure and have only their own interests in mind. As you soar once more in flight, receive the gift of the falling angel as an invitation to study the forest from above the trees. In other words, to analyze your situation from a higher perspective without being enmeshed in its thorny branches. Once you understand what needs to be done, head back to your lofty heights and stand by for the right moment. Action you take now may backfire. Stay conscious and wait until you are guided to change. You will know when the time is right. Okay. Yeah, so what this tells me is, this is similar to a message I had recorded previously, but it's kind of like you're not going to know who this person is until you start shining, but also until this person starts shining again. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like right now you feel very powerless in this situation, or maybe your hands are tied, and then this person wants to help, but they can't help you. Right? And that's where the trust and the mutual energy comes in working together, you know, because if someone's on their descent, I don't know, there's something about like someone needs your spiritual guidance right now. And that's kind of what's fake about this person, because I feel like they say one thing and they do another. And that's why they're living beyond their means, because they're trying to like keep up with stuff. So I'm like hearing like LA or New York, you know, having like the best brands. Maybe not the best brands, but it's kind of like I can see them like walking tiptoes, especially when it comes to you on that. I feel like with you, they can let their hair down, but like with other people, they're definitely like, I'm literally seeing like a guy trying to wear heels and like tip tap around, and I'm like, okay. I don't know. I feel like this person's a little paranoid. Again, with the 10 of Rings, I see though that this person maybe has a lot of accomplishments. They did a lot of stuff, especially back in the day. So maybe they have some experience or wisdom. Someone might have glasses. Maybe someone got locked out of their apartment one time when you were around and you didn't notice. Yeah, someone might also have like a pink chair in their house. Or this person's like, they're not afraid to be a little bit more feminine. You know what I mean? Like, again, butterfly in the hair. Man, that destruction. Oof. Yeah, I could see them being a little destructive when they're upset sometimes. And so that's why they're kind of pretending to be a little bit more soft than they intend to be. At least when you're in the room, you know, because they have a huge, massive crush on you. It was raining. I don't know if maybe they live in an area where it's pretty rainy. Or I'm hearing like foggy. Yeah. But there's something about like their inner world is protected and safe. You know what I mean? Like the stuff you shared with them, absolutely safe. If anything, that's why like either when you left or when somebody did something to their home life, it just crashed and burned. You know what I mean? So they're like, wow. It's kind of like you meet them and then they just so happen to be going through like the worst period of their life. And they're like, wow, I can't believe you not only destroyed my house, but I don't feel like you intentionally destroyed this person's house. I feel like it's like the consequences of their own actions. But like you made it safe for them to cry together. You know what I mean? Like this type of person wants to show off you and your accomplishments, but also like their own accomplishments to you because they want to seem like scholarly to you. Like you're making, like that they're making the right decision because secretly they feel powerless. And I feel like they trust you a lot, you know? But maybe you turned, I'm hearing they're like, well, you turned your back on me. I was like, nope, you made a pinky promise. We're gonna be okay. You know? Just gotta keep trusting. Yeah, I'm hearing like needing to like lay still so the butterfly lands on you. You know, I think that's what they're trying to do is they're trying to not take action towards you because they're like, pile number 4 is the butterfly. If I just like play dead or like I'm dead in the rubble, eventually she or they are gonna come back and just sit on me. And then maybe we can have a conversation, you know? Oh, yeah, because someone's crashing out over this big time. And I'm like, you could just say something on social media if that's the only way you're engaging, like, but no, this person's like, nope, I gotta sit still and wait, be patient. And there could be divine intervention and timing in regards to this, but you know. Yeah. Okay, so then this is going to be what is being lied about here. It feels like feelings of love. All right, so we've got the Knight of Swords in reverse. Two of Cups, there we go. Man, look at that. I just say it and then it comes out. We've got the Queen of Cups. Aw, I heard like, you're everything to me. Yeah, because I feel like this person's like, I feel so raggedy and ratchet. And you're like a queen. You know, like they really... I see this person like being on their knees, like looking at you going like, oh my gosh, you're like this priestess warrior bitch. Holy cow. That's so funny. Justice. Yeah, I feel like this person could talk about you for hours. Karmic female. Yeah, maybe they lied about having a partner as well as you at the same time. You've got Muse. Uncomfortable. Oof. I'm feeling like weird stuff around my chest. I was like, that's not mine. I was like, no, go energy away. Yeah, like maybe someone was trying to distort somebody's energy, or you were trying to distort somebody's energy unintentionally. You're like, pay attention to me, and they're like, shut up. I'm trying to do something. Oh, gosh. Yeah, you could even be in love with yourself. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I see this person as like, maybe they dress up to either be like you or more like you, or there's something about like they're confused. Right. They're like, you scramble their brain. Okay, that's just how they describe it. But what they're lying about, we've got like trapped, lonely. I feel like they're lying about how social they are because they seem really isolated and they seem to be beating themselves up a lot. Maybe they're lying to themselves about how trapped they are, but it really feels like they could just open the door. But like with you, I feel like they want your signal. They want your permission to let them back in. You know what I mean? After either what they've done or whatever. Recognition, I feel like they are lying about recognizing their feelings about you. You know what I mean? I feel like this person just really, really doesn't want to get hurt, but they're also like, God damn. Third party. Yeah. So we've got third party and karmic female. Yes, maybe someone had a toxic relationship they had to cut off in the past. With Muse, I don't know if that person was like a caricature of you, or there's like some kind of like, this person didn't handle the breakup well. Because like once you came into the picture... Okay, yeah, because I was hearing like you're projecting something. So maybe they projected a fantasy about you onto this person, and they slowly began to realize, oh, I'm actually thinking about pile number 4. And then they saw you being like this warrior. At first, maybe they thought you were crazy, and then they were like, wow, you're actually like really cool or good at what you do. And so then they got uncomfortable because maybe they came from a different spiritual background. So maybe their religious values are different. And you just seem very mysterious. You know, like everything you do seems like a mystery to them. And so that's why, like, when it comes to their lying, I feel like they have a hard time communicating. Sometimes they let loose some stray bullets. Sometimes they're a little mean when they don't mean to be. But yeah, they're kind of like, yeah, I'm a degenerate, but I love you. And you're like, yeah, I love you too. Hee hee hee. Even though you're a little gremlin. And they're like, ha. Yeah, and then like with drastic, extreme, harsh cut off, yeah, I feel like maybe they're lying about being cut off. Because maybe, again, you blocked them on something, but there's some other way that they're watching you. You know, some way that they're infiltrating and getting information. So again, maybe they do tarot as well, or maybe they're getting readings, or maybe there's something about like their soul gets downloads. So it wouldn't surprise me if this person either has like a dream, or I'm hearing like projecting. I'm like, maybe they astral project? Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. So like maybe you can see into the future and you can see different things, and then this person can actually like connect to you spiritually and see what's going on, you know? And they're like, "Oh, you're so sweet." Yeah. Hmm. And something too with Muse, I feel like this person's probably creative, but maybe they lied about worshiping you or something like that. Like maybe they were kind of just like, yeah. I'm thinking of a scenario. I asked someone one time to make a song for me or about me or something or whatever, and for some reason the scenario I'm feeling is this person had not actually written a song for me because there wasn't enough time because he was busy and forgot, and I just got this energy of like, yeah, I'm just gonna pick this old one, clean it up, play it for her, and then boom. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like maybe this person, you know, used AI to kind of like write a nice letter or kind of like do something to make themselves appear a little more romantic than they actually are. Because again, they're all dead on the inside. Like they're like creatively stifled. But they recognize how you make them feel, and they're just confuzzled. You know? They're just like, man, I didn't get justice for the thing that happened to me yet. I can't come back looking like this, acting this way. Yeah, karmic female too. It's almost kind of like they see you pouting and getting frustrated with them, and they're like, oh, I feel all bad. And, you know, our spirit guide's just like, just get it over with. Talk to each other already, you know? You're both manifesting the same things, and you're both manifesting what you want. It's just kind of like right now, something spiritually is blocking the two of you from coming together right now. So, but this person's really sweet on you. Maybe someone likes Letterkenny. All right, well, let's get into the secret. I have been dying to know what that is. Yeah, and also like what this guy has to do with anything, because this guy in the last pile represented a narcissist. But in another pick a card reading I've done in the past, he represented a soulmate that basically was your guide through the dark days, right? So maybe this was someone that helped you get through a past situation, and, you know, they dress up like happier people when they're actually secretly a sad little gremlin. And once you got back on your feet again, they're like, wait, but I'm your biggest fan. Take me with you. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, hey, what do you mean you're just going to exclude me from your epic journey? You know what I mean? Like, huh? And they just didn't really know how to tell you, especially to your face. You know, because it's kind of hard when you're like, oh my gosh, this is like the best person ever for me. And they thought you felt the same way, and then you left, and they were like, no. All right, so we've got cycles. Judgmental. Again, this is the secret, or surprise. Inadequate, worthless, incompetent, ill-equipped. Aw, arguing over something on social media. Aw, did you guys have like a back and forth spat? A public back and forth spat? I was like, is someone a different race than you? I don't know, what is the secret? Spirit. All right, yeah, because we got Medicine Mother, honoring your inner knowing. Okay. So the secret is maybe you were distorted intentionally towards another person or towards a specific experience so you could prepare yourself for this person. So I feel like this person is very, very similar to a partner in the past, or there's some kind of a situation that you were being geared up and guided towards so that way you could witness things that could go wrong. And so that way you could tell which was the Pokemon that was on your side versus the one that wasn't. You know what I mean? Because the other pile, like pile number 3, like that was definitely a narcissist abuser type energy, right? Pretending to be somebody that they weren't. But this person, what they have underneath is they're just like a sassy little whatever. And yeah, maybe sometimes there are little parallels, but that doesn't mean that this person's all bad. You know, I feel like this person does try really hard, and just because they're caught in a cycle, maybe you caught them at a bad point in their life. With judgmental, I feel like the secret was self-sabotage, you know, because I'm seeing like really nice jewelry. Maybe someone really likes jewelry. Maybe somebody wanted to... No? What is this? I feel like someone wanted to give you something. There's something to do with their neck. So like maybe like a necklace was really significant. Maybe there was some kind of a distortion. Because like I'm seeing like with like the bandanas, it's like maybe everybody was blind in this situation. But then you took your blinds off, and or maybe this person saw you out in the crowd and kind of were like, oh, hey, and you took their blinders off. I don't know, there's something like you can't admit something with this person, and that's part of the secret and why it's so hard for you to not be able to tell the difference between the good person and the bad person in your life. Yeah, because I feel like this is definitely like heavily spiritually guided, that like you're supposed to go through this conflict so you can learn how to identify like the devil in the details, like the worst of the worst, and really heal something that happened to your ancestors a long time ago. Yeah, I feel like you're doing some spiritual work that really ties back to some old times, even medieval times. I was even thinking of somewhere in Florida, like the medieval times, like restaurant thing with jousting and stuff, like the Blue Knight. Interesting. Unlocking memories. Inadequate, worthless, incompetent, ill-equipped. I feel like both of you were not ready for this relationship to happen. I feel like you were just carrying a lot of baggage and stuff from your past that needed to be let go in order for you to find yourself and learn to just appreciate the mountains around you, the things that are passing by, and you're no longer as attached to belongings. And your spiritual truth comes down to relationships, right? And I think maybe that was the tricky energy all along, is like, you know, when you're going through life, there's a lot of stuff that society teaches us is valuable, but it's not until you really start to live that you start to realize, wow, dang, like getting coffee with a good friend and being able to do that all the time, that's a gift. You know, that's like an amazing experience that you're not always going to have because you never know what's going to happen, you know? And I feel like once you learn how to lighten your load, a huge pillar in your life dropped away and you were able to overcome that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like seeing these people, it's almost like they're all dressed up and they look really nice, but they're also walking blind. And, you know, it's kind of like, okay, great, you have all this money and all this wealth and power, but like, love is what's most important. And that was the secret you had to learn, is the secret inside of yourself, like what's causing you to be drawn to certain people? What cycles are you stuck in? Why are you hiding your heart from yourself in everyday experiences? You know, I'm seeing the moon, so there's like something going on in your subconscious that's going to be revealed as a result of you showing your heart. You know, because like this person's going to come running when you show your heart to them, but they can't see it if you're ghosting them. You know what I mean? If you're getting confused, if you're arguing over something on social media. You know what I mean? Like I could see you guys being like, well, Trump said this and this guy said this, or like, this is how you deal with crime and blah, blah, blah. Or like, I don't know, someone feels like they're just not good enough. I feel like both of you feel like you're not good enough, But like, these are all spiritual lessons. And what I'm seeing is what's cool about you two is there's you and your person. It's like having two different colored eyes. You know what I mean? One person sees this angle, this person sees this angle, and then you come together and they work so well. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing like the black and white and then how it really works together. Yeah, so the secret is maybe you found out that you actually were pretty judgmental against this person because you felt inadequate. That's why you were fighting so hard against this relationship or this person. You had to go through your own cycles to find your truth. And when you found it, you can let the past go. You don't have to hang on to people that don't serve you anymore, because now you learn the lesson. You know your true north. You know your compass now. You know that spirit was guiding you the whole time throughout your journey. And now you're going to have your clarity. Yeah. I just feel like you're being watched, as you rise. And it's kind of weird because I feel like maybe you're a young person, but people already deem you as pretty wise, for your age. And it's like the more you experience things together, especially with your person, the easier things are going to be, and the less you're going to have to wear this mask, and you're going to remember that, you're just as important as your person. So keep at it. And, you don't always have to pull out your sword to keep yourself safe. Sometimes we need to rely on others and their strength as well when we fall short ourselves, And you're going to be giving that power over to someone that God trusts. And that you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Just lean in and understand the divine's working in your favor. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to get into messages from your spirit guide team. Aww. Look at this image, guys. You've got the White Witch be the light. And you literally have this blonde woman who's curled up, and the card says unlovable. Oh my gosh, it's like she's been spinning in this cycle of self-loathing and self-hate. Meanwhile, she's this beautiful witch. And oh my gosh, she's so abundant. She's got all these leaves in her hair, and she's so pretty. Dang. Yeah, I think Spirit's just reminding you that you're the light in so many people's lives. And it's now time for you to remind yourself that you're not unlovable, but the version of you that you think is unlovable and unwanted is actually one of your strongest versions of you. You just got to give her a chance. Okay? Yeah. Maybe owls are significant. Looks like we got some berries here. And moths. But yeah. The White Witch, she's a queen. Not to be confused with from Chronicles of Narnia. But yeah. You're so focused on why you're not lovable instead of why you're light. Because love and light are the same. So you can't be bright and unlovable. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm just saying, just because a couple people are negative Nancy's doesn't mean that you're not perfect exactly the way that you are, and someone out there can't wait to be your person. I'm just saying it's coming. It's coming. I see red, so maybe they're an Aries sign. I'm just seeing a lot of earth energy. Yeah. I don't know. Well, anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, comment down below if this resonated with you. Check out my blog if you're interested in learning more about mental health, spirituality, and other stuff. And yeah, I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye.